What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast, episode 75. I got Brandon here. I got Hecker here, and we're ready to rock. You guys ready?
What up? Ready.
What up?
75.
This
Shout out
is
Vinny Curry.
Woo! Who's that?
He plays for the Eagles. He's number 75.
Oh, yeah.
Local
Vinny
guy.
Curry. Yeah.
Vinny C. But
Vinny
yeah,
C,
let's go,
baby.
man. I'm excited.
Yeah. I've had a crazy 2 weeks. This is my favorite part of the week. This is fun. It's exciting. And let's have some fun, baby. And this has been cool because we've had to put thought into it. So today we're doing the 5 questions, like always, the news story, and then we're doing trivia too. We're adding something different to the mix. And the loser of the trivia between me and Brandon has to sing for 30 seconds. Girls just want to have fun. You ready, Brandon?
Sure.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm the favorite, but I don't know. I don't want to get cocky.
I want to be
all
Sean so bad. Let's go.
All right. What is the first question?
Question 1. What are the top 5 phenomenons?
Top 5 phenoms. Phenomenon. What's the word, Sean?
Phenomenon.
Had a boy. Nailed it.
Phenomenon.
Absolutely crushed it.
I had some trouble saying the word.
I had some trouble
Phenomenon.
brainstorming here. This is
me too.
Tough.
Me too. I'm happy with mine though. Actually, we're doing 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have 4 that I have well thought out, and then my 5th one's a little lazy. I'll admit.
Okay,
But,
I mean that's good. There's
Yeah.
so like phenomenons could obviously be a few different things, but we're looking for things that are like kind of inexplicable, whether it be a natural phenomenon or I mean it could be again a number of things, but I guess the best way to explain it is just to kind of get into it and we'll discuss.
Definition of phenomenon. Oh, there I go.
That's one. We need like a little counter. How many times you fucked that up?
Definition of phenomenon. A fact or a situation that is observed to exist or happen, especially one whose cause or explanation is in question. Glaciers are unique and an interesting natural phenomenon. So things that are phenomenal. All right, start us off. What's your first one?
Me? All right.
Yeah.
So number 1, I think this is an underrated phenomenon. It happens naturally in nature. We've discussed this, Sean and Brandon, but it's too crazy for me to leave out, is the fact that caterpillars turn into butterflies. They live their life as a caterpillar. Cool. It's the craziest thing. They live their life as a caterpillar, and they eat leaves and stuff, and they just kind of mosey around, and they can't do much as a caterpillar. You ever seen a caterpillar try to cross the sidewalk? It takes forever.
God.
It takes
They're so
hours.
slow.
They're kind of cute, but they're also like easy to, a bird can come pick one up. They're defenseless, awful, terrible life as a caterpillar. And then they find a nice quiet spot and they wrap themselves in God knows what. And like 2 weeks later, they emerge as a completely different animal. Then that now they can fly and they're beautiful and like ornate and these beautiful creatures. What's going on there? What's in that cocoon?
That is incredible. Is there anything comparable to that?
Not that I can think of.
The difference, you put it well, the difference between being on the ground, going very slow, barely moving, to being able to fly and soar through the sky.
And everyone's happy to see you. As a butterfly, everyone's always, everyone points you out and you get attention. But as a caterpillar, like nobody sees you until you're like stepped on. You know what I mean? Or if they do, they're like, this is a brown furry thing.
I haven't seen a caterpillar in a long time, actually, now that I think about it.
Butterflies seem to be everywhere.
Have you seen like them hatch from the cocoon?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
In person?
I have. And I wonder if this is why it's just accepted as like not that crazy. Because like as kids in school, whatever, kindergarten or first grade, I did this. I'm sure you guys did. Did you guys do it in school where you have a caterpillar, they're in like a little tank and you watch them?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm wrong. Well, we did that.
But I definitely learned about them. I feel like all kindergartners, first graders learn about that because it's so special.
That's they should save that for like high school. Like they're tipping the cap for biology because it doesn't get much better than that. Like you peek at caterpillars and then you're like, oh, by the way, like tigers have stripes. You know what I mean?
Do you know anything about the lifespan? Like how long they're a caterpillar?
I think like weeks. And then they're also in the cocoon for longer. They're in the cocoon for like 2 weeks. So it takes a bit. It doesn't happen overnight.
Here's an interesting question. How are caterpillars born? Do butterflies have baby caterpillars, or did caterpillars have caterpillar kids before they turn into butterflies?
I think that's a good question. I would guess that a I don't know. I mean, this is
Yeah.
a total uneducated guess. I would guess that butterflies lay eggs
Actually,
or something.
I think now that I think about it, I think I remember seeing something about butterflies fucking. Basically, like I can imagine two butterflies that kind of
Imagine how
into each
beautiful
other
that
in
would
the
be.
sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that is phenomenal. The fact that butterflies turn into caterpillars, I can't think of any comparison.
Right.
And it's a great metaphor for life. If you spend your time doing what you need to do on the ground, you can fly through the sky.
It's crazy though. Like, what's going on there? Does science even know? Like,
Dude.
is there something on the caterpillar? I don't know. It's a wild thing. It's
It doesn't
absolutely crazy.
a butterfly doesn't even really look like
No.
a caterpillar. Like, obviously the base is the same creature, but you can't even really see that. It's such a formation.
Right.
Such a formation. And how do wings grow
That's what I
inside
mean.
that cocoon?
That's what I was gonna say. If you can inject your body with that like DNA, would you want to like grow wings? Like
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Absolutely.
But what if
Imagine
you're
that.
the only guy with wings, though? You'd be kind of a freak.
You'd be an anomaly. You would be the coolest person. But if a guy had butterfly wings and could flutter around, you're going to say
Yeah.
you wouldn't want to do that? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Plus,
If
it's
you were-
very
if you-
beautiful.
And if you were in the NBA, would that be traveling? If you just jump from one side and fly?
2 flaps. That third flap is where.
Two flaps.
Yeah.
2 flaps in college, 5 flaps in the NBA.
Yep, that's right.
Wow, that's a great one, man. It is phenomenal. That
I know we had
exists.
talked about it, but it was too good to leave off. It has to be discussed.
I agree. It is phenomenal. That's a great one. That's a great lead.
Thank you.
All right. My number one phenomenon is the placebo effect. It's one of the most common theories is that the placebo effect is due to a person's expectation. If a person expects a pill to do something, then it's possible that the body's own chemistry can cause effects similar to what the medication might have caused. That's crazy. The fact, and I guess the moral of the story is if you can placebo affect yourself as far as expectations. Expectations are like everything in life. Expectations are if you expect to be a millionaire but you only have $800,000, then you'll be a failure. If you expect to not have that and you have 800,000, you feel rich. It's all about your expectations. And the craziest part is that it's like the body's own chemistry is what can change. Like if you feel like shit, you take a sugar pill, you think it's going to help you, and then it actually helps you. It did nothing. The pill did absolutely nothing. And you were healed. That's that's phenomenal. I think that's the craziest thing. Like
Absolutely.
The placebo effect. Yeah.
It is crazy.
Anything
It's
to add to
crazy.
that?
I mean, it's absurd, and it's not just for like the common cold. There are some pretty significant like illnesses and things that have like been cured. I know that you're in the camp of like mindset, if you don't want to get sick, it's huge. And this is like what you said about can you placebo yourself? I guess
It's
no,
hard.
right? I guess you can't because
That's
in
the
order for a
skill.
placebo
That's
to be
the
a
skill
placebo,
to develop.
but in order for it to be a placebo, you have to be unaware that it's not real. So if you're doing it to yourself, it's a little bit different. But I see what you're saying.
Well, that's the challenge.
Tricking
That's
your
the
mind
challenge.
into
Knowing that your brain's chemistry has the ability to do that. Yeah, if you got to try to placebo yourself in life to be successful in mindset. Like I truly believe in mindset. I mean, I have not been sick. I was sick once in 17 years, and I swear it might have been COVID because it was in early January after I was at a wedding in January 1st. It was a New Year's wedding. It was the only time I was ever sick, and I didn't want to admit it, but I just admitted it. So it was one time I was sick in 17 years, and I just truly believe the more I say that, the more I'm less likely to get sick, and that's kind of using the placebo effect on myself. There was this guy that was on Joe Rogan before, and he was talking about this type of thing, and he brought it to the extremes, saying as far as something like sunburn can be beat with like the placebo effect. Like like if you think about it, and even Joe Rogan was like, "Hey, I'm into this," but like, whoa, that one's a stretch.
Seems extreme, right?
Yeah, and then I don't know, man. Like I had this guy on my podcast who like beat cancer with a positive attitude and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know if that works for everything.
Right?
Yeah, of course, and medicine.
But I think that it goes a long way.
He was saying the mindset is more important than the medicine. Yeah, and it's just and it kind of just relates back to positivity in every situation.
For sure, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I don't believe that you can like that you haven't been sick because you believe that you can't get sick or whatever that is. But I certainly believe that if you have cancer or like a serious illness and you have a positive mindset versus, woe is me, I'm going to die soon, that makes a huge difference. Huge difference,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It's expectations. I even remember our friend Joey G in college. I remember he said this once in a register with me. He said, I get sick at the same time every year. And it was a little thing, but I always remember that he said that. And it's an expectation. It's like when the time hits, then you're like, this is the time of year I get sick.
Yeah,
Like,
or it could be like just a season, like a sinus infection. People tend to get those when the seasons change.
Right. And if you think that, then right. And there's no like exact right answer to the percentage
right.
of how much positivity or how much mindset affects it. But like if you see yourself going into certain thoughts that are things that outcomes that you don't want, your brain, somewhere in that brain, there is the ability with thoughts that you can produce on your own to affect the chemistry, to affect the outcome. And that is phenomenal. And the placebo effect is kind of like the proof of it. And I just think it is phenomenal. I've always been fascinated by the human mind.
Absolutely.
And yeah, that's my first one.
That's a great one. Also, shout out Joey G, one of the greatest guys.
Joey,
some of the best stories.
If you're listening, like and smash that subscribe, smash that subscribe button and comment. And we love you.
That was great. Yeah, that's a good one. All right, cool. So I'll keep it in the human mind for now. So, I'll say like your memory, and maybe not in the way that you're thinking. So memory is unbelievable for many reasons, but for me, I'm thinking like, do you have like vivid memories of insignificant things? Like if you think back to like college, I do. I have like there's vivid when we lived together on Price Street. I have like a vivid memory of myself. You guys, nobody else was there, just playing video games, playing NBA 2K.
Like a specific time or like a general
specific time.
Were you high?
Maybe. I don't know if that.
Most likely.
Yeah, probably. No, I wasn't. And there's like a few of these insignificant, like very specific memories I have, like kind of spanning through my whole life. And I don't know, like, how does my mind decide what to hold on to?
They're random points in time.
Yep.
Dude, okay. So I've actually talked about this before, and your brain has zero memories, but it remembers things that it remembers the memories. Like so if this is like proven in like court, like, memory isn't like in court, a lie detector test
inadmissible.
And like, inadmissible in court, someone's memory. But if you remember something immediately, then the next time your brain recalls that, it's not recalling the situation, it's recalling the memory. So the more times you think about it, the more times you keep remembering that memory. So like whatever that point was, I have this random memory from when I was 7, when I had this bad dream and I ran out and my mom and dad were there, and like it's just something I've always had a memory in my head. And every time I think about like this conversation, I always remember that. So now I'm remembering the last time I remembered it. So it's like,
does it get like watered down through that? Like the more you remember it, the less accurate it becomes, or no?
Well,
you know what I mean?
No, I think the emotional moments are more likely to be remembered. But your
these are just
situation is just random ones. And then maybe every time you think about, oh, that's a random moment that I remember.
Is it like deja vu though?
No, deja vu. I consider deja vu in this.
I actually did too.
But that's easy. Not easy, but like I understand what's going on there. Where like you're basically what's happening now. Your short-term memory is like quote unquote
wired.
Full. So it gets stored in long-term memory. So you have the sensation that it's a long-term memory, which is
right. So
which is just crazy. Of course, that's
phenomenal. That's weird. It's weird. I thought about doing deja vu too, but I didn't think it was phenomenal enough because I understand it.
Right. Yep.
But dude, memories, like I think about that all the time. And like, if you are at a party with 10 people and you say to everyone stop, you turn off the music, and you're like, everyone remember this moment.
Mm-hmm.
I think the memory of that will be more likely to be recalled because you told them to remember that. Dude, Nico, our friend Nico, he told me this story. I think one of the things my brain does well, and I think I might do this on purpose, subconsciously on purpose, is I erase negative memories from my brain. And I'm very proud of that. And I think it's because I'm a positive person. But Nico told me this one story on his 21st birthday. He's younger than me. I was 21. He said that we bought beer and the cop was following us. And we know that they did that in Westchester. And he like berated us and made us get out of the car. And he said I was like yelling at the cop and all this shit. I have zero recollection of it.
Right.
And I was like, dude, you're lying. You're lying. He's like, why would I lie about this? I literally had no idea this ever happened. And I searched the back of my brain to try to remember this. And I had no memory of it. And I think what happened was I probably drove away so pissed off, and I was like, fuck that. I didn't
Scrubbed it.
I didn't like play it again in my brain. So then when I tried to recall it, I didn't have the memory. Brains only they remember memories. And I think with you probably remember that because every time you think about this, you're like, oh, that's a random thing that I remember. And then you remember it more. Then you're like, why do I remember these random moments?
Right.
And that is super weird how it works like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, if I asked you to recall a random thing, I mean, it would probably, if we're going to talk about stories from college, they're going to be things that we discussed before.
Right.
That's why the day after a party, you want to recall the fun moments because then you can recall them in the future. I always think about, we had an awesome college experience, frat house parties every night, so much fun, so much inside jokes, so much every night of fun activities, amazing time. Like I don't remember all of them. I bet you there's combined with being blackout drunk, like that too. But there's probably so many great stories from college that I don't remember.
And you remember some that are probably not as great. You know what I mean? Like if you could go back and choose, I want to remember this one and not that one. Like I'm sure that you would.
And
make
that's
some changes there.
That's basically what the brain does. I think.
Right.
Is it chooses it by.
But why?
Calling
like,
it. Yeah.
Why do I remember? Who knows? Also, you mentioned like at a party stopping the music, saying everybody stop, remember this moment. So I remember this first happening at my wedding, but everyone before we got married was like, it's a blur, whole day's crazy. So take Lauren aside, find some private time, be quiet, and like take it in. And we did that, and I'm so glad we did because it's so true. Like a lot of the day is kind of a blur.
You did that specifically.
Yep, and then
you remember it
like so vividly. So
because you made a point to.
Because we made a point to do it, and the same thing with my daughter is everyone said like they grow up fast. Don't look ahead to, she's going to be a toddler, soon she's going to be this.
Right.
Like, be in the moment. If you're ever like overwhelmed because having a baby can be hard, like take a breath, look at your child because, when you're 95 years old and you're on your deathbed, like all you're going to want to do is go back to these moments. So like take them in so you remember them.
Like,
and I've been doing
record
that.
them, record and when you record a memory, I feel like you record your visual and your like emotional feelings.
For sure.
And then you go back and you can recall the vision and you can recall the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And that's crazy though. But all the things that the brain forgets, it's nuts.
It does, and things do like details get watered down. You know what I mean? Like you don't remember the day Lucy was born. Like I could give you almost a second by second recap. Now it's like I can get pretty close, but it's like a little bit fuzzier. In 10 years, I can probably tell you again, pretty good, but like that's why I think journaling's cool. Like with Lucy, the day I recorded a video of myself explaining like, here's what it was like the day you were born. Here's exactly what happened, so that I don't lose those like little details, which may be insignificant, but it's cool. Memories are crazy, but we have the ability now to like record things and make sure they don't get diluted.
That helps. I mean, I look back at some of my old podcasts and I'm like, oh my God, like I barely remember doing that. And video and recording. That's why I love recording and posting the memories for other people, but also for yourself. And it definitely helps. But I think maybe the takeaway is like brains remembering things. So take time to remember important things. I used to like read, like every time I read a book, I try to, I forget a lot. I read this Tony Robbins book, like 800 pages about money mastery. And that book specifically, I saw it recently and I was like, oh my God, I don't remember anything from that. Other books I read, I try to close them and be like, okay, this is what I'm going to remember from it. And all I remember is what I said I was going to remember.
Right.
So it is crazy how it's just a tool up here and so many things happen and so many things are forgotten. And yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
All right. Well,
that's phenomenal. Good one.
Thank
All right.
you.
I got a couple more of the brain, but I'm taking a different route here. And someone, that I think is phenomenal. LeBron James. I know we actually have kind of brought up LeBron James on the podcast a little bit. You are a hater of LeBron James. Here's the reason I think he's so phenomenal. 2003 draft class, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Carmelo Anthony, Luke Walton, who's been a coach for like 5 years. Dwayne Wade had a historic career, did like a retirement tour. He's out. Chris Bosh has been out forever. Like, those guys had an amazing career, and they're done.
And like
Wade
had like a long career.
A long career, and he did it, and he ended it, and it was a spectacular career.
Top 3 shooting guards of all time.
He's up there. He's good. LeBron is still the best player in the NBA. It's phenomenal how amazing he is, and he wants to stick around and play with, a year with his son.
Yeah,
That's fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
That is so cool. He has withstood the test of time as far as being the best player at the highest level for so long. And someone comparable in sports might be like Tom Brady. But
huge difference between
well,
us.
I mean, why?
No one has
Because
had that
LeBron-
much pressure at 18.
LeBron was anointed the next Michael Jordan
Right.
when he was like 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
He's the
And
only person I can think of that had such like expectations, lofty expectations.
lived
that's
up to
lived
it.
up to it. Mhm.
A lot of people don't live up to it.
Like almost nobody. I can't think of another person who does. And maybe it's because he was so good in high school that rarely people. But I mean, people have had unbelievable trajectories in coming in the number one recruit, and then
They're pretty
kind of-
good here.
and even
there,
like
yeah.
somebody like KG, the other like guys that went
KG.
from high school to
Yeah.
directly to the pros.
Kobe.
But Kobe, yeah, and nobody had the pressure that LeBron did and lived up to it. So I hate LeBron, but it has nothing to do with him as a basketball player. He's an unbelievable athlete. He's
And just
Can't argue
the sticking with it. I mean, Jordan. I don't think those two are very comparable. It's the debate. But Jordan was amazing. Like The Last Dance, I couldn't even watch before bed because I got too fired up thinking about how Michael Jordan's so much more of a killer than LeBron. But Jordan basically tired himself out twice. He retired twice. He was like too intense for his own good. And LeBron just sustaining that excellence.
Mm-hmm.
It's I mean, definitely his body, but there's been a lot of people that have been 6'8" with his body weight. I remember this guy, I used to compare him to Josh Smith in the NBA. He was on the Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
Like he could jump out the building. He was the same height, same weight as LeBron. It's not just the physical attributes. There's something to him that just makes him so phenomenal.
He's also avoided injuries.
And that's
injury, has he?
I mean, I think that's a little bit of physical. I mean, avoiding injuries is incredible.
Well, just the
what do you attribute
science
that
has
to?
gotten so much better, and
His
he's invested
fitness
so
and also-
much money in his body.
You have to give.
I mean,
you have to
Kobe.
chalk
But
some
look
of
at
that
what.
up.
I was
You
gonna
have
say,
to
look what happened to
attribute some of
Kobe.
it to like luck almost. Like you can
A
do
little
all the
bit,
right things.
yeah.
You can do all the right things as an athlete and still get hurt, still tear your ACL.
A little
still
bit
tear your
to
Achilles.
luck, but with
But it's-
LeBron, it exceeds that luck. There's
it's-
something phenomenal about him.
Sure, I can't disagree. I mean, he's
So-
unbelievable.
So, as a LeBron hater, what's your
Mm-hmm.
what's your pitch on why you're a LeBron hater though? Have you've always been a LeBron hater? I remember. I remember you hated the decision. Do you still have the same hatred, or is it evolved a little?
It's evolved, but it's maybe like more aggressive than
Okay.
than ever. He's just always, it's always a me show, and like sure you can attribute it to the fact that it has always been a LeBron show since he was 15, but he's always constantly like contriving this stupid shit to be the media darling, and he's always walking into the arena with a new book that's on page 2.
Dude,
And then
that's the
somebody
funniest
asks him-
thing.
When you ask him about the book, he has no idea. He's never.
Yo, let's talk about that for a second. That is the funniest thing. You sent me the videos. You sent them to me. It was 5 or 6 different pictures of LeBron in the locker room with the media there, holding a book.
No,
looking
walking through walking from his car to the locker room. First of all, nobody this is a LeBron thing. He doesn't understand. People don't read while they walk. That's not what people do. You know what I mean? Like he's like, oh, I got to get these chapters in before I warm up. No, obviously there's going to be 1,000 photographers there, and he just wants to be. Oh, I'm the bookworm.
And the thing I remember is the pictures or him sitting there in the locker room reading the book. And every single one of them, there were 6 or 7 different pictures. Every one he was on the first page.
Yep.
Wasn't
they're
it
like,
a Malcolm X book or something?
So that was a
another
different one.
one.
That was the best one. That was the best.
He's caught
one.
red-handed.
So, you get caught
Caught
red-handed. Oh my God, he's
The
sitting
reporter
there.
asked him. A reporter asked him. I saw that you had the Malcolm X book that you were reading on the way in.
No,
and
dude,
he's like,
he had it in his lap.
right, but all right, whatever it was, and he was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, absolutely, it means a lot to me." And she's like, what's your biggest takeaway? What's your favorite? Basically, what's your favorite part of the book?" And
He goes,
it's really
he's
a
a
special
great
thing.
man.
Great man.
And then he goes, and a lot of the stuff he's dealing with still going on today. Still going
Yeah,
on today.
right. So it's like, all right, so that's huge. Phony there. I think everything he does is funny. The decision was one of the craziest things that I've ever seen. I hated it so much.
It was pretty awkward.
So much, pretty awkward. I mean, we were in college at the time. We were both living at the frat house for the summer.
Yeah.
And like we sat down and watched it, and I was like shaking because I hated it so much. It was weird that I was that upset, but it's just so phony and contrived. Who does that? Nobody's ever done that, and nobody will ever do that because it was such a stupid idea.
I think he was
Yeah.
more manipulated to do it than like. I don't think it was his decision. Like, let's
No,
make
dude.
like a show for me. Like,
Nobody's manipulating him. He's got all yes men around.
He
him, so
doesn't.
everything's
He
his
doesn't
idea.
have the off the court personal branding pizzazz that like a good politician might have, or like a Kobe Bryant. But he doesn't need it because of his
Well, Kobe,
on the
I wouldn't
court.
say
But I
Kobe's off the court brand was exactly
Well,
spectacular. He didn't really do much except for
He fixed it after the whole Colorado situation.
with some money, but like he didn't really do much off the court. It wasn't like a huge personal branding thing.
Well, he was right. I mean, he was fixing his image as a girl dad,
Mhm.
and he had like the camps, and
And
like
seemed to do it, yeah.
he was fixing his personal images before he died.
Have you seen
Um,
LeBron's Instagram and Twitter post recently, where it's like a picture of himself? It's like baby king, like it's like a shout. It's like a
Right,
throwback,
and
or it's like a flashback Friday, or like a tribute to himself as a 16-year-old. If only you knew now, or then what I know now. You're gonna be hustling. You're gonna be grinding. You're the greatest. Looking up to who would have thought you would look up to MJ and Magic, and now you're gonna be
And dude,
at the same level.
I
It's like, oh
am
my
attracted.
God.
I am personally attracted to people who have a kind of inflated ego. Like I love Kanye West. I like Donald Trump. I like people who can will their greatness into existence. It's kind of like the brain thing where like you keep saying you're great, you become great. That's not LeBron is maybe trying to do that, but he doesn't do good at it. He doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't work. He does not exceed in that. Like Floyd Mayweather, great at it. Like he does not exceed at that personal. Like I'm the greatest type of thing.
Well,
That's
he's also like he can't read, so I think he'd have trouble. He probably read the same amount of pages as LeBron has, though, in the past couple of years. Also,
he's not very smart politically. He doesn't have like
Remember
well
the-
thought out opinions, and he shouldn't. He's focusing on basketball.
but he like I don't would be fine if he didn't, but then
Right.
don't fake it. Then don't pretend you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think he's
Um,
like put in a position to have to do that. Because think like Leonard. Like if Leonard had a better personality, he could be considered like the best in basketball. But like
I mean,
he's so quiet, so people don't like him. Like
but when you go to on the court, it's on the court. You can't take that away.
yeah,
Like he won the championship. LeBron, he as an actor, right? He's not a bad actor. Like he's not the worst, and I'm
does
sure
he
he's had
ever
a lot
look-
of coaching. So he was in the one movie Trainwreck where he had a little role. It was an Amy Schumer movie with Bill Hader. He had a little role, and it was actually funny. He only had one scene or a couple scenes. He was like a side character. He was Bill Hader's friend, and it was funny because he was playing himself, and he like wouldn't pay for anything.
Mhm.
Like it was kind of a funny little bit that the writers wrote for him. It was easy. The acting wasn't the worst. I've talked about this many times. I am chomping at the bit for Space Jam 2.
I know.
I
You have to be the
can't
only
wait.
person in the world. And
Now-
you're gonna love it because you love. Like you're just gonna love it regardless. You're gonna go in with high expectations.
No,
and you'll
no.
love it.
I'm gonna have fair expectations.
you're
I've
gonna go to
always
the movie
been,
theater, Sean, and watch it.
I don't know.
You have
Maybe.
to. You have to. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I will. Like, I've kind of made it part of my brand, or like I've talked about Space Jam a lot because I don't think enough people are talking about it. Everyone talks about LeBron versus Jordan. With Jordan's storybook career was Space Jam. He has his 3 championships before Space Jam and his 3 championships after Space Jam. He played baseball. And how did he come back from baseball? Well, because the Looney Tunes did it. It was the perfect combination of off on the court storyline combined with the storyline of the movie. And that made Jordan's Hollywood storybook career, which therefore made him be able to sell billions of dollars of shoes because of his personal brand and the Jordan logo. I can't wait to see how LeBron does that and uses Space Jam as part of his legacy. I mean, I'll be fair about it. I heard, so I predicted the plot a few times, and the plot came out that it was going to be.
Don't tell me.
I mean, there was.
I'm sure it won't be a spoiler, right?
No, it's not a spoiler.
Brandon, cover your ears.
Yeah, cover your ears.
I guess you got to edit this.
It's basically a preview, and it was just something about all the bad guys. I assumed that the Monstars would be back. Apparently not. Apparently it's going to be like all the Warner Brothers cartoon bad guys, villains from the past are going to like take over Warner Brothers Studios or something like that. And there's going to be a lot of references to old Hollywood Warner Brothers movies, which sounds kind of cool. So, and those are going to be the villains in the movies. Apparently it's not going to be the Monstars. It's going to be
do you know of any specific examples? I don't.
No.
Okay.
There hasn't been a preview. There hasn't been anything except for just like a few paragraphs that were released about the plot. And
is the animation going to be the same?
It sounds kind of cool. It sounds kind of cool.
Is it going to be like Pixar animation or like the Looney Tunes?
Good question.
I assume
there are no Pixar claymation Looney Tunes that I know of. So I'm assuming it's going to be like the cartoons that the Looney Tunes are.
Hopefully.
I hope so too.
It's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad, I think.
Combined with the storyline, how amazing the first Space Jam was, the Looney Tunes, and LeBron's legacy and his acting, there's just many things I'm excited about seeing it. I will walk out and say it's terrible if it was terrible. And right. I don't think it will be. They've been planning it for so long that I think the writers and the people that are behind it are gonna make it easy for LeBron. And Space Jam is one of the best movies of all time, dude.
It's also the music, like the songs from Space
Jam.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
exactly. I bet you the soundtrack. How can they
create a good music?
But I don't. It's gonna be like trap music.
And the other thing that was released was the jerseys, and they're fucking sick.
Oh,
I want to get.
The thing is, that,
I want to get one of those jerseys.
What we both look for out of movies, it couldn't be more opposite. You know what I mean? Like if you love a movie, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm not going to like it, but there's a good chance. Like your favorite movies. I remember we watched the movie 2012 together, and like
one of my favorite
movies
when it
ended,
ever.
It was like one of your favorite movies, and it was one of my least favorite movies I've ever seen. So there's going to be some disparity there. Maybe we should like find a way to watch it together and just get our instant thoughts, because
you're
going to be you're like a kid over Christmas, and I'm like, damn, I wish they wouldn't do this.
Yeah.
I'm going.
I also think I have like an ability to like things. Like I'm a early adapter. Well, no, also like I can jump on things quickly. Like I think maybe we'll get to this later, but I think I can jump on things quicker than other people. Where like I can see nostalgia faster, I think, than others. But I don't know that's separate than the 2012 thing. Okay. So like. Space Jam has a lot of nostalgia built into it, and I think that's why people love it.
Space Jam, like honestly,
you like the movie Space Jam, right?
Of course, but it's like it's not like that great of a movie. Like we watched it recently, and it was like it's nostalgia, but like it's okay. It's
because we watched it. It's not that
funny,
dude. I think it's
not very
amazing,
funny.
Dude.
You know who's the funny character is Sylvester the Cat. Everything he says cracks me up, but like
I like Newman from Seinfeld. Yeah, my favorite line from Space Jam is when. He knows Jordan goes down the hole, the fat guy, and he's like digging up the whole green, and the guy goes up the cart. He's like, "What's up, man?" He's like, "I'm fixing a divot." And the guy's like, "Oh, he's fixing a divot." Like he's just digging up a huge hole, and like I wonder who's gonna be like the comic relief. Like I know Don. I think Don Cheadle is gonna be the bad guy, and then I don't know. There has not been a lot released about it. I can't wait. And LeBron James is phenomenal.
Can't argue that physically. Right. Cannot argue that. All right, that's a good one. All right, I'm gonna say, let's say, like phobias, innate phobias, shared phobias specifically. So there's some that obviously make sense to me. I think I was reading about it, and like there's two fears that everyone's born with. It's like the fear of falling. And something else. They are both related to like just basically innate danger that's associated with it. Like if you're falling as a baby, you're going to be scared because like instinctually you know that's not a good thing. So those I get, but like one that pops out to me is like critters, like a mouse. I feel like
I'm scared
most
of that.
people, me too.
I'm
We had
scared
a
of
mouse in our house, and like my first reaction was like, yee, and like back up before dealing with the problem. But why? Why is
All
everyone
right.
afraid of a mouse?
Here's
They're
the
not
reason
dangerous.
Here's the reason I'm scared of a mouse and a big cockroach.
Mm-hmm.
A little insect, I can step on it. If it's bigger and I step on it and I hear the
Doesn't
crunch,
die. Mm.
I hear the crunch. You can't really step on a mouse. And if you do, say the
Right.
mouse is in a little shoe-sized box and it can't move, and all you have to do to kill it is stomp on it. The feeling that you get under your foot of the guts of the blood and the guts and the spit, like and I'm scared of a cockroach if it's big enough for that crunch,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm less scared.
that.
Like that's how I think mice are at the perfect size, where they're not a threat, but also you don't want to step on it because like of the crunch.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
What
that's
about
one
like
of the
clowns?
reasons.
A lot of people are afraid of clowns. Like humans seem to have like, there's a bunch of obviously common fears that
Spiders.
don't really, like spiders. Yeah, another one. Spiders, maybe I could be convinced that like they could be poisonous and dangerous. So like we've evolved to be afraid of them. But there's other things that like that's not the case. Like a mouse. Like I don't think that's why you're afraid of a mouse. I understand. I understand.
Well,
what you're saying,
there's difference between fear. There's a difference between fear and surprise, though. The other thing about mice is they're
Sure.
surprising. You're like, oh my god, a mouse,
It's like
and then
you
you're
see
like, you don't,
something move and like then it just
and you feel a feeling of invasion when they're in your house. So it's
Mhm.
like the feeling of intrusion combined with a surprise, combined with
just
the
like
fear of stomping on it.
seeing it like
Yeah.
scurry across. That's like people are afraid of it. And there's like, I mean, there's like heights. Maybe that's like a danger thing. It's just weird that we're wired to be afraid of things that aren't necessarily threats to us.
Yeah.
And like there seems to be a lot of overlap there with fears.
I think
and like I don't get it.
So I mean, there's the evolutionary element where the people
sense
who weren't
danger.
scared, the people who weren't scared of snakes got eaten by snakes, and the people who had the people who were naturally scared of them ran away, and people survived, and then they had babies with other people who were scared of snakes because they survived, and then that fear was like evolutionary wired in us. So that's part of it. But yes, now we know not that they're not scared. So I mean, I've thought about this a lot and got rid of those. So that's one element, the evolutionarily wired part of us, which we have to acknowledge now isn't real. But then the other ones might be things that everyone's scared of it, so you're kind of scared of it too, and it's kind of like a crowd like thing.
There's one fear that I don't know. I forget what it's called, but it's like a fear of like a bunch of little holes. Like if there's you ever been like a soundproof wall where it's almost looks like a microphone, a soundproof wall where it's like just it basically looks like a foam wall that you just poked a bunch of like a billion holes in it.
Okay.
Like there's a relatively common fear of that where people see
What?
like a surface with a bunch of these little holes poked into it and they like cannot deal with it.
It's called trypophobia.
Trypophobia.
Yeah.
No.
And it's like an overwhelming fear. People that are afraid
I
of
mean, it has a name. It has a
Right.
name, so it's been clinically like documented.
diagnosed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's like
That's crazy.
Why? Like that's a crazy
weird
thing that their
one.
brains are doing. But it's not like it's a one-off. A lot of people have that. So like, what's going
Yeah.
on there? Why does your and
I mean,
the feeling of fear is such a like visceral, unique feeling. You know what I mean? You feel it in your stomach, you're short of breath. It's kind of a good thing. I think that's why people like roller coasters and stuff like that, like thrill seekers or skydiving or bungee jumping,
right.
because it's like an adrenaline thing. But like why do these weird random things elicit it?
I think, I mean, I don't know. I think that the person who has that trifold phobia, whatever, their ancestors might have had something to do with it. Like if I think it might be evolutionary wired like that.
Yeah, that's not
and
really how the evolution thing works. Like if my grandpa was killed by a bumblebee, wouldn't mean that I'm necessarily going to be terrified of it. You know what I mean?
Well, right. It has to go further back than that. It has
to be like a bunch of people
right.
breeding.
It has to be deeply rooted. It's harder for that to be the case now, right?
Maybe
I mean,
like
if your parents are scared of it now, they might have told you as a kid. Like,
right,
if you're a little kid and you see the fear in your parents' eye about something, that fear might transfer to you.
True.
So in that case, it's not evolutionary, but it's nurture wires
Yeah,
or something like
right.
that. It comes from something.
And with phobia comes another thing that's pretty phenomenal is like the fight or flight response is pretty remarkable. Where it's like pretty if you're in a situation like that, it is pretty evident like what camp you're in. You know what I mean? Like if you see something crazy, you literally will run from it or you kind of use the adrenaline and harness it.
Dude,
You don't have a choice and there's no like judgment either way. But
dude,
like it's crazy.
this goes perfectly back to the placebo effect
Hmm.
because I mean, this is talked about in the entrepreneur world every single day. How scary it is to start a business, and how scary it is to take risks and do things that you dream of doing, and you have to get used to the feeling of fear. So fear is a real thing. It's wired in us for all these weird reasons, and you have to be comfortable with fear. And like you can kind of get rid of it. Like if I see a mouse now, 8 years ago I might freak out. Now I've actually like trained myself to be like, fuck. I am really good under pressure, like from like a surprise or the fear hits me real quick, but then I've trained
And then
myself
you take a
to
breath.
immediately within 5 10 like within 3 to 5 seconds I'm right back to normal. Like if someone hits me with bad news, I'm always like, and I can and I, but it's a skill. It's like a muscle. If you want a big muscle, you have to do bicep curls, and if you want to get good at facing fear, you have to practice facing fear. So you have to be in fearful situations and deal with it, and that's how you can like get rid of it. But the fact that they're natural is weird, and it is
You're
kind
just
of a
born with it.
phenomenon. Yeah, yeah. You're either born with it, or you learned it, or it's wired in you. But yeah, and there's a bunch of other weird ones out there. That hole in the wall one's a good example, but
Mhm.
there's probably a list on the internet of all the weird fears.
People are probably
And
afraid of like a color, like fear of the color green or something. Like I'm sure that
yeah,
something weird like that exists, and it's
and
just
that's something you gotta go, like either go to a psychologist for or
yeah,
just
therapy.
there's no reason to be scared. There's no reason to be scared. Another one like is being scared to talk to girls. Like there's the fear of rejection, and then there's the biological fear of getting back to the tribe of 10 people that if you're talking to someone else's wife, they might kill you. Like apparently
Sure.
that's taught in like classes about how to pick up girls, which I studied when I was in my freshman year in college. I like got deep into the Vitruvian arts, which is the art of how to pick up girls. It's not the art of love and relationships. It's the art of the pickup. And they talk about that you have to like face that fear and all the
I
strategies.
never knew that you, in all these years, I never knew that you studied that art.
Really?
No, I don't think you've ever mentioned that. That
Dude,
is
when I went to Ohio
very
University
on
my
brand.
freshman year, I
Mhm.
took notes. I had like these like meanwhile I was getting like B's and C's.
Right.
But like I took notes on it. I studied this guy called the mystery method. This creepy guy. He said he would go to a bar.
Seems like a good guy to trust. Yeah.
He said
This
he
creepy
said
guy.
he would go to a bar and he would talk to 5 girls and make out with 4 of them, and some of them were even married. And it was just he was so good at the art of the pickup that there's like a science to it, and he explained it all. But yeah, even that science is it's about facing fear and like the biological wiring of fear of talking to girls.
Hmm.
It's crazy, and fear is like a real feeling. But all fear, in all different circumstances, is the same feeling.
Hmm.
So if you can overcome a fear in one circumstance, it'll help you overcome fear in another circumstance. So,
Yep.
all right, that's crazy. All right, all right. My next one is also like a brain thing. The psychology of buying behavior, specifically 99 cents at the end of something. So every like humble brag, my business got to $5 million in sales this year, and all I do is sell things online. And I like obsessed with making things. Everything on our site ends in 95. And then when it's on sale, it's either in 99, 97, 79. And those are mainly the only 3 numbers I end sales in. And so there's University of Chicago. They did a study. Sales increased 65% when they dropped something that ended 89 cents to 71 cents. And then when they dropped it from 71 cents to 69 cents, it increased 222%. And this guy from the book called Priceless, William Poundstone, he did a case study that on average, like 24% increase. If you have something for $100 and you put it at $99, there's a 24% chance that it'll increase. So ending something in 99, for years I've heard many people say, and I've said, it's like, that's so stupid. Why is it end in 99? Why isn't it just $1? Why isn't it just $1? And apparently it's one of those things that it just works no matter what, even if the person knows it. I think it kind of works because if someone wants to buy something, obviously it's not going to make someone who doesn't want to buy something buy it. They want it. I think it makes them be able to justify to themselves. If you buy something for $499 and like your wife asks you how much was it, you're like, oh, it's like 400 something bucks. Like it makes you able to justify it to yourself that it was like a little bit cheaper. And I also think it shows intent of the seller that like, hey, we're trying to sell this. It's at 99. My house is for sale right now. And the realtor wanted to list it for like 590 or something. I was like, no, let's do 589, like 589, 900. Like,
Right.
But I don't know. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's absolutely true. Even when I was in sales for a career, it wasn't necessarily down to the cent, but like if you're negotiating and somebody, proposes like, all right, we'll do like 15,000. Like, all right, well, we can't do that, but we can do like $15,127. It's like,
That's
that
a little
seems like
different.
I know, but that seems like a real number that like took some crunching to get to. So like, if it's that specific, there's got to be something behind it, when in reality it's
Right.
not. It's just a way to
Right.
like nickel and dime a little bit more. So I know it's
Right.
different, but that's like a similar kind of like
Yeah.
almost manipulation of like a buying habit.
Right.
Could it be
Something
like a
just looks.
science? Like people like certain numbers, like they like the 6'9" versus 7'1" or 8.
Yes. I mean, the studies have proved that.
I think the
And
99 is like, for me, that seems pretty self-explanatory. Like if it's
it's only
25.99,
1
it's
cent different.
$26, but you see 25. Like Lauren is the queen of this, where she's like, we'll get this thing. It's like $500, and then I look at it's like $599. I'm like, there's
Right.
there's a difference here. This is not $500. I don't know if you
Right.
stop reading at the first
Right.
number, but there's two numbers after this that you have to
And
pay attention.
that's the phenomenon. That's the
Mhm.
part that I think is so interesting. And it works. It fucking works every single time. And in this case with Lauren and the 500 and the 599, back to my original thing about you're able to justify it to yourself if you can say
Yep,
it's cheaper. So it
for sure.
allows the buyer to justify it to themselves, and I think that is why it works. The fact that it works is it's a psychological, proven through study facts that something could be 1 cent less and a 24% increase of someone buying it. That's phenomenal. It's so
Right.
stupid. It's so stupid. 1
Especially
cent,
now.
and everyone knows.
Especially today. Like I could understand if this was the case, 100 years ago, but like, why even have cents included in a price? Like if from a consumer standpoint, why even look at those numbers? Why does it matter? But it's really just the psychology behind, all right, this is $27 versus 28. And you also feel like maybe you're like subconsciously, you feel like you're getting a little bit of a deal. I
Yeah,
wonder,
it's like,
you might know, I don't know if you do this on your site, but if you're doing a sale, do you show the original list price and cross that out, and then underneath it show the
yes,
sale price?
yes.
Okay, so that's
And
like similar to I'm
I
saving,
always, I always increase that price too.
right? And like people are convinced, oh, I'm saving, we're saving $50. Like, no,
Dude,
you're not,
like,
because you're still spending the money.
like I do it all the time.
Mhm.
$24.95 is most of our products. When I put them on sale, $17.97. Then I'll put it up to like 33, and then I can say a certain percentage off. I mean, I do a lot of sales online, and all I do is write. Obviously, the product has to have a good picture. People have to like it. But then you say 40% off, 20% off, 60% off, or no, sorry, $20. Like I either say $20 off, $15 off, or I say 40% off. But like it's just made up numbers to sell the product, and it works. It
It works.
works. It
Mhm.
works, and that's crazy that 1 cent makes such a huge difference, and it's a phenomenon.
Do you
Yeah,
think the
that's a good one.
consumer will ever like beat like the thought process of like this sale really isn't a sale? Like it's like made up. Like
I think
That's
I
a
I
good
think when
question.
people are I think when people are looking at like a sale, they're like trying to convince themselves that,
Right,
like they're doing whatever they can to be like, all right, I'll justify this purchase.
right.
So if
They
they're
want it
already there and
already.
looking,
They
and they're
want it
like,
already.
now
They
this
want it
makes
already.
right.
Yeah, they want it already. Like our retargeting ads, they target people who visit specific products, and then when they're on sale, they know what the product they want. So they're just
Mhm.
waiting for that little. even if it's I should do a study. Even if it's $20 and then it's on sale for $19.99, like they'll get it then. They and just
Right.
on the website, there's like the bar on top of the page that says on sale, and the line crossed. It's just that fires in people. All right, it's time to buy now. We have
Right.
5 million in sales. I would say 4.1 million of them were products that were on sale. Like our customers are trained to wait for sales, and like there's a Gucci and like certain brands, like high luxury brands, they purposely don't do sales and they purposely end things in even numbers because they're doing the counter of that. They're saying that we don't put this on sale. So that is actually the opposite. It's like their sale is the fact that it's never going to be off this price and you're buying like a luxury price, and then they can inflate the margins big time.
Right.
It takes a lot of discipline to have that be your brand strategy. And I'm way more for
That's crazy.
the sales, but it's crazy how that 1 cent makes a big difference. So
Yeah, it's funny hearing from your perspective because I think even as a consumer, you know that that's the case. But again, you're looking for whatever you can grasp onto to justify whatever purchase. So
right, exactly.
that's funny. That is funny.
All right.
All right, awesome.
All right, you're up.
Yep. All right. So let's go with so this is 2 guys. I'll say 2 sport athletes. Specifically like Deion Sanders, Bo Jackson.
That's a good one.
I think we'll never see it again. These guys were both Pro Bowlers and All-Stars in Major League Baseball. And they played at the same time. Like Deion Sanders played, I believe
Dude.
he played a playoff game, a baseball playoff game like the day before he played an NFL game. So he had 2 seasons going on simultaneously. Like how that'll never happen in a million years. See, these guys
Like
are such world-class
but
athletes. They're the
but it
1% of 1% of 1% in 2 different things.
But it wasn't like a million years ago. I mean, this was in
No, I
recent
know.
history. Like, and Bo Jackson's the other guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's like Tim Tebow, like played baseball after.
He failed in the NFL. Like Prime and Bo Jackson were both like all-time greats as far as NFL
and then
goes.
like I think Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson, they were both drafted into Major League Baseball.
A lot of players actually, a lot of football players, like because baseball draft has like 40 rounds.
But the thing is, they're quarterbacks, so they need to dedicate their time to the craft of a quarterback. Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson, running back and cornerback. That's less of a study position, more of like an instinct position. Running back is the easiest thing to just put it into a new system. They don't have to know all the plays; they just take the ball and run. Same thing with cornerback, just cover. Yeah, you have to know the basics. But damn, no, like. Why did they do that? I mean, like there was a little before our time to like. I wonder more about like how the timeline was. Like how many seasons did Deion Sanders play in the NFL, and then how many were in baseball? I don't know. Do you?
No.
Like I'm gonna guess he played like 11 NFL seasons and like 4 Major League Baseball seasons.
So Deion Sanders to me is a football player first. Bo Jackson, like. From what I mean, granted, I don't know all that much. Like you said, we were a little young, but like highlights and the 30 for 30 I watched, like he kind of like, I think he's 50-50. He's an amazing baseball player, but also like one of the greatest football players that he just got injured. He hurt his hip. But do you think that this could happen anymore? Like,
would
an NFL team allow their star cornerback to play for an MLB team at the same time?
Well, the contracts probably don't allow it. But David, why did you leave out Michael Jordan?
Because he wasn't an all-star. He played in the minors for baseball. I mean, that's a decent one, and he didn't do them at the same time. But Deion Sanders was an all-star in the MLB and a Pro Bowler.
Dang.
Like he was the top of both sports. And baseball's so tough because there's so many. Like like I said, there's 40 rounds in the draft. It's like. If once you're drafted in the MLB, you will have a much, much, much farther way to go to play in the bigs than you would do in any other sport. There's 3 different
minors.
So many hoops to climb through.
Like Jordan never made
getting
it
drafted.
to
No, he
majors.
Was
Neither did Tebow. Like they weren't good enough.
Will. And neither Jordan, yes, but Tebow wouldn't even check in my mind the NFL box like these 2 did because he won a playoff game, but he was bad. Great college football player. Not a good NFL career, and that I don't think that's an argument there. But he's not appropriate. Like he will never
Yeah.
make the bigs. He stinks.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I don't
Yeah.
think that it would happen anymore. I don't think that you'd be allowed to do it.
Dude, I want it to happen. And with scheduling, like they talked about LeBron played football in high school. He could have played tight end. I'm sure he could.
Mhm.
But the scheduling, I guess baseball and football maybe work with the scheduling. Damn. I wonder
Crazy,
if that'll
right?
ever happen again.
I don't
That is a
think so.
phenomenon. That is phenomenal. Like Deion Sanders. I wonder. I wish it was more in our time when we were like, because we know about it, but we don't know. Like we weren't closely following sports at the time. As far as like, I don't know what was it like day by day. It's crazy. It's fascinating. I want to see that happen again. Actually,
Dude, listen to this. On October 11th, 1992, Sanders played in a Falcons game in Miami, then flew to Pittsburgh, hoping to play in the Braves League Championship Series against the Pirates that evening. It looks like that game didn't happen, but still, like he's same day he's flying to have it happen.
and like he can't be. They have to have a backup for him. What if the game goes into overtime? Like what What if?
Mm-hmm.
That's fascinating, though. That's so crazy. And I wonder what his motivation was. Was his motivation money, 2 contracts? Was his motivation legacy?
I think
as
it's
far
greatness.
as
With him,
greatness?
like he's prime. He's like he was at least one of the first, like
personal
diva,
branders.
right? And like
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
so good at it. He still is, but he was just always chirping, "I'm the greatest." I think
So
for me that's probably his. He's like, I can do
right.
this. And
Like I wonder how it played out too. I wonder if he started in the NFL, was doing great, and then always like just like Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray. He's like, I do have this like potential contract, and maybe at one point he was just like, hey, why not?
Mhm.
But the phenomenal part about that was he was able to do that transition and play in the pros.
Right.
Like
at the highest level.
Russell Wilson could not play in the pros, Major League Baseball tomorrow. He
Right.
would be able to get there if he committed to it. But
Maybe. I mean,
I don't know. Maybe he
I think
could.
maybe. And even if
And like, was
And
it a
the fact that he's an
sideshow for
all-star.
Deion Sanders? Was it a sideshow for like how
No, he was
good
an
was he at
all-star.
baseball? What position
an
did Deion
all-star.
Sanders play in baseball?
I think he was an outfielder.
Outfielder, and I'm assuming a leadoff hitter and a base stealer.
I mean, he's an all-star. Again, I know I keep hitting that home, but that's a
That's
huge deal.
huge.
David, are you a fan of baseball?
I am, yeah. What that you seem so disappointed by that. I'm sorry to.
I just think
Sorry to
baseball's
say.
so boring.
Baseball sucks. I grew up loving it like everyone else. Like
I can't say that it's not boring. Like I agree. It just I love. I think the Phillies being good in the late 2000s like reignited that for me. And it's like it's so much fun going to baseball games. It's like an event. You're not as
I like
focused
going
on
to
the
baseball
baseball.
games. Yeah,
But,
I go to baseball games because you don't even really have to watch.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. All right. So yeah,
That's
that's
a good one.
my fourth. Thank you.
All right. So this is my fourth, and I thought about these. I have 4 good ones. My 5th one's a little lazy, but my 4th one I took a little bit of liberties. I was thinking about natural phenomenons like volcanoes and tsunamis and aurora borealis, which is a crazy, amazing
Seen 'em.
phenomenon.
Beautiful.
You've seen it? We saw it from what,
Iceland?
Iceland?
Yeah.
Iceland.
And volcanoes, obviously. Yeah.
Iceland,
go there.
and I think you can see it like over Michigan a little bit, just like lights in the sky, crazy phenomenon. But I took some liberties with this one. So, total lunar eclipse, which every 3 years you can see from certain parts of the
Thought about
world.
this.
Crazy thing. It's phenomenal. But I'm taking this a different angle. When I heard of that, I remembered this story that was one of my favorite stories from history. And before I took some liberties and did the Oklahoma story, so do you know about the total lunar eclipse story with Christopher Columbus?
No.
Why he was
Okay.
sailing on the ocean? He thought it was an alien or something?
Nope.
Oh.
You just made that
He
up.
used it to like manipulate people. Like this is
Yes.
gonna happen. Your
All right.
God is telling.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
So here's the story. He 1504. He was kind of screwed. He was sailing around like the Caribbeans, and his ships landed in Jamaica. And the people that lived in Jamaica at this time were like the natives of Jamaica. They were called the Arawaks, and
That's cool.
they
name.
first got along pretty well. And then they were there for about 6 months. They were kind of shipwrecked. Like they were not doing well, Columbus's crew, and there was like kind of a fight over food. First, the Arawaks were helping them. 6 months passed. They were kind of leeching on them a little bit. and they were like, we need food, and these guys were helping us. So this was in February, and then so Columbus had an almanac, and he knew that the next lunar eclipse was coming. So he said to them, if you guys don't give us all the food, the gods are going to get very mad at you, and I control the gods. And if you don't give us any food, I will make like the moon disappear. And he timed it up with an almanac that he had from some like German writer. And he said he would obliterate the rising full moon, making it appear inflamed with wrath, which would signify that all the evils will soon be inflicted upon them. And they were like, all right.
Was it like a red moon, or is it gone?
It gets red and then it kind of disappears.
Yeah.
And he knew exactly. He like told them what was going to happen, and so he just fucked with them. And then they didn't give him the food, and then that happened, and then they thought that he was a true god. He even went in and he got the almanac, and he had like an hourglass, and he timed every half hour, and he was telling them the things that were going to happen, and he said, like, if you don't start supplying us with food, like I will, I'm a god. I can control the world.
It's gonna get a lot worse.
Yeah, it's gonna get a lot worse. So they kept him well supplied with food until June 29th. So February to June. So for 4 months, they gave him his crew all the food he wanted, and then someone from Spain came and picked him up. So I started with a phenomenon of the total lunar eclipse, and it took me to that story, which was one of my favorite stories from history. I always remember that. Like, and it kind of shows the intelligence that the Europeans had over all the natives in the Americas and the Caribbeans, and they were just so, the fact that they had that information in 1504 was pretty impressive about the lunar eclipses and the timing of them.
And that's specific, that he could set his
right.
timer to it.
My thought right now is like the airwalks. That's what they're called.
Yeah, the airwalks.
Have they never seen a eclipse before? Like, has never been told in their like civilization and their history?
They were. No, they didn't have books. They didn't have writing.
They weren't recording it, and they couldn't like.
They didn't have written language. They didn't have recorded history.
Maybe Columbus said, like, I've done this before. Like, I'll do it. So that if they had seen it before, they're like, oh. Well,
I guess like their great grandma just like was asleep during the time and didn't tell anyone. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I mean about how it shows how much better the Western world was as far as guns, science, recording of history, language, literature. Like, people talk about how, we genocided the Native Americans, and it's a whole different subject. I don't think we did. We gave them a lot of chances. There was a big difference in cultures. I mean, their culture was all about killing and stealing from other tribes. And when the Native Americans too many times ransacked white people's houses, killed their kids, and took all their shit, we were like, dude, this is not how this works. Now it's on, motherfuckers. And who's going to win in a war? The people with the guns and the government and the technology versus the natives. They weren't as smart. They didn't have.
But doesn't the natives have a right to ransack and kill people who are on their land?
No, you can't kill people. You can't just murder people.
If you like try to take over their land, I mean.
Well, they didn't have. If they had a government backed by an army that had lines and governed bodies of land, and they said, due to our nation's laws, you can't come on this land. They didn't have anything like that. They didn't have anything. They didn't have any unity between the tribes or any government or any laws or any rules or regulations. Like, we had that, and we tried to offer them. Thomas Jefferson said that he wants to combine over the next generations native blood with human blood, with human blood, with European blood and American blood, and we'll over time we'll come together and we'll all be Americans.
He was just trying to spread that seed, though.
He was all about spreading that seed. Yeah, he's all fuck some natives too.
Right.
But they did not want to be involved with our way of life, and our way of life. Okay, it's better. It's better to have governments and economies where you can grow crops and then sell them to other people, and then the economics of transporting crops and government backed by, if you murder someone, you go to jail. That's better than their way. I'm sorry, that's better.
So would you be in support of us going to like tribes in remote tribes in like Africa right now and forcing our way of life on them, or is it different now?
It's different now because our country's established. I mean, at this point, it was literally the Wild Wild West. People use that as a phrase, but it was actually the Wild Wild West. The phrase
This was even the Wild Wild East, like this was that didn't even
yeah,
exist.
it was like around like Oklahoma.
But there is something to be said about the way that they were like. Sure, there was a lot of it was like savagery or whatever you want to call it, but they were also like very in touch with the land. Was it? I think it was. There's some cartoon. It might have been Family Guy or South Park where they like. It was obviously a spoof on it, but they're like, "Can we have the white people came like, can we have this land?" They're like, what do you mean? It's nobody has this. It's just this is the land. It exists. Like, no, okay, this is ours now. And then
Right.
you can like we'll give you some spot. And they're like, what do you mean? This is all of this is
that's because the Europeans and the Americans understood property rights and that's better for families and economies
for them. But like things are working okay.
It's our way of life.
Things are working okay for them. Like
I feel no shame in saying I feel no shame in saying the American way of life is better than the Native American way of life.
Well, that wasn't the American way of life, but I see your point. But why is it different now? Like, what if we went to a tribe in the Amazon in the middle of nowhere and was like, okay, so this is our land now, and you are going to have a government, and they're like, well, things are working fine.
I mean, geographically, sea to shining sea, manifest destiny. It was always one of America's goals to reach the other waterway. Like, we have our country, like
by any means necessary.
Geographically, it doesn't make sense to take over another land like that. We don't need it.
Okay.
If we needed it, if it came down to, and I don't see.
Why did we need it then? We didn't need it then. Like this wasn't to form America necessarily. You know what I mean?
Like, well, first of all, it was attached. There's a difference between going somewhere that is a island of natives now and trying to take over it. That's just no reason.
Like what about in the middle of the rainforest in Amazon?
So you have to. Well, there's no reason to do that now. But the reason they had to do it then was because your lands are touching. You have to govern with each other. You have to work with each other in some way, like, or else you're going to cross paths with no rules. Like, it was touching. It was there. It was touching. The lands were touching. It was right there. And it's not like the difference between Amazon Island or something is that there's water surrounding it, and
you got to go to South America. Amazon is a rainforest. But
all right, whatever.
Yeah,
we don't need
I see your point.
And if it was in our way, we would. There was when the Trail of Tears. The Trail of Tears is one of the things that people talk about with genocide and pushing out the Native Americans from around North Carolinas. There was 4 years of law, of legal court battles about that. The Native Americans, they didn't know what court of law was, but there were some liberal lawyers who went and took the case on for them and fought for them, and they lost in court. I mean, it wasn't them. It wasn't the Americans running in, stabbing people, and taking the land. It was.
Don't you think that there's some like? Why is it there? Why is it the European people's, the white people's, like, court to hold? You know what I mean? Like, why are they?
Corruption?
Why is it their judges that get to make that decision?
Well, they didn't have any judges on the other side.
Exactly. That's what I mean. They couldn't speak for themselves.
Well, that's that's why they aren't as good.
But that
what the tribe should have done, what the Native American tribe should have done, is they should have had a federal government and then states, like kind of like they.
Yeah, but this is similar to like the what's it called, the airwalks you were just talking about. Like they'll get there, but they had they hadn't yet.
They hadn't got there, and the same people in the same world had exponential advancements, and I don't know. We tried like the Americans tried to reason and when I think that one of the words was like Americanize or make them speak our language and teach them our ways. Like that was genuine. Like we're like, yo, you should like do this stuff. It's really good.
But
like you can sell your crops.
What if they're like, well, we want to speak our language. You guys, like, we've been here the whole time. Why are you guys
coming here and telling us what to do? They all had different languages.
All right, so they're all right, but the point still stands. Like, we've been here this whole time. Like, we're happy with the way things are going. We have these gods, and of course, like you have an economy and you have a government, and that's great for you. But like, we're happy. So why can't we just chill?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't work for them. Like it was
Clearly,
it was
I
a
think there's
long
a reason for that.
it was a long hundreds of years process. Little by little, Americans moved west, interacted, positive. I mean, Thanksgiving, Pilgrims and Indians, positive interactions.
Do you think
The
that's how
Airwalks.
Thanksgiving went down? Do you think
Yes,
that's
I
what
do.
happened?
Yes,
think
I mean,
everyone's-
just like they said, the Airwalks accepted Columbus for a first little bit. They were welcoming people, and then over time, it's like politics and stuff gets involved. But the immediate interaction was, "Oh, hey, what's up? Like, one need help?" And that was very nice.
Right, and they're like, we're gonna destroy everything you guys have here, but
we didn't say that.
please feed us. I know we didn't say it, but that's in the back of our mind. We're like, these idiots don't even have a fucking government.
I think that happened over time when they're like they
Right.
started the reason and they started to notice they didn't and
They're like, "Wait, can you show us like your guns and stuff?" And then they were like,
no guns.
and they're like,
But they needed them at that
Alright.
point to
They
kind
look
of
back.
they needed them to show them around, and they needed them for crops.
right. And then
And,
once they didn't need them anymore, they were like, all right, this is ours now. So thank you,
Yeah.
but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a genocide. I hate when people call it a genocide. A genocide is putting 6 million Jews in a camp and burning them at an instant. That's a genocide. A genocide is not 200 years of slow, like intercultural meeting with a bunch of different stories and then treaties and then slowly pushing out and giving them land. That's not genocide. That is history happening over.
Did they murder like they didn't kill like millions of people?
Well, there's different ways. I mean, so
Most of it because of disease, right?
so the disease thing is part of it, and that wasn't. Some people say like the blankets with the smallpox was like intentional, and maybe one guy did do that. The federal government of America did not strategically give smallpox blankets to them. That never happened. Now there was wars like General
They
Custer.
did kill all the buffalo to starve the Indians, though. That's
No, they did not. That's insane. What?
yeah.
They
it's in
killed
history.
buffalo on purpose to starve the Indians?
Yeah.
No, they didn't do that.
Why is that- why is that insane?
On purpose. They didn't do that on purpose. They didn't kill buffalo with the intention of starving the Indians. They killed buffalo for sport and for fun and for food. I mean, the fact that the buffalo used to run wild in the West and then didn't anymore. The Native Americans, like that was their only like food. Like we kind of went out there and just crazily killed them all, but the intention was for the intention was for sport. It wasn't. There was never a strategy that
it's true. I just
it resulted in that, but it didn't. That wasn't the intention.
Why does that seem so far fetched?
Because the intentions were never, let's fucking just kill all these bitches. It was a slow procedure. It was first, let's get along. Then they didn't want to incorporate it. It's like, okay, we'll push you out a little bit. And then over 60, 70, 90, 150 years, it was like, okay, we keep moving out a little more. And like, you're still here. It's like, there's nowhere else to
They're
move.
still
them.
here. Yeah, of course. Because like, why do they have to move? They're like, we're forcing this, and like, you guys have to move, or else we're gonna kill you. You can have this little pocket of land over here.
No,
but, like-
it wasn't kill you. It was just you got to move. Like,
and if they said no, then it was like, all right, we're gonna have to kill you guys then.
And,
Right?
and when the killing started, no, it was never we're going to kill them because they're here. When the killing started, it was when
if they wouldn't move.
I
Right?
mean,
If they were like,
the
if
thing
people
is
were
they
taking
didn't.
over your land and you like started to fight back, don't you? I mean, I would imagine you would want to do the same.
So like the thing is like they didn't have the Native American tribes. They moved with the buffalo. Like they didn't have one spot. Like maybe they were here for a
Sure.
while, then they left, and then when they came back, the people were there, and they're like, "This is our land." They're like, "Well, no one was here. Do you have any like documents that show this is your land?" They're like, "We already built a house. Like we're just gonna stay here." Like, and it wasn't like intentional, but the killing started and the war started. There was many wars with and that started kind of when their backs were against the wall, and then they started killing us. Imagine the feeling of you come home one day from getting water out of the well, and your wife and your 2 kids are killed, and they're murdered on the floor, and all your stuff stolen from your house. Then that's when they're like, "Fuck you, let's go." Started, and
I
that
guess
wasn't.
that would happen
That was
if
a
you
little
built
by
your
little.
house, and that's probably what happened if you built your house on like in my backyard. You know what I
Do
mean?
you think you'd murder me?
Well, no, but like if you built your house,
No, they
on-
didn't.
in my
The Native
backyard.
Americans didn't kill them because their house was there. They killed them because their economy was a savage steal. The only way that the Native Americans acquired crops and goods and food and clothing was either grow food yourself, make your own clothes. But the other way, like the Lakota and the Apache were like two of the most vicious tribes. They were the strongest tribes, and the way they acquired a lot of their food and their clothing was fucking ransacking the other tribes.
Right.
That was our economy was about supply and demand and hiring.
Taking what you want.
They just took what they wanted. That was their.
That's what we did too with the land.
Yeah, but that was their way to get. If no one was there, and you walk to a big land, and there's a big piece of land, you build a house.
America's economy was based on using slaves, though, to make those things.
I mean,
solid point. But
it's a little unrelated to the tribe element. I mean, obviously,
what I will say, that is the Columbus story is phenomenal. That is
All right, we gotta track a little, but yeah, the total lunar eclipse in the Columbus story. That's my number 4.
All right, I'm gonna say this one. I'll say Freddie Adu. Do you guys remember Freddie Adu?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
He was. You don't remember Freddie Adu?
I do. I remember him.
I don't.
But I forgot.
No, you're right. Well, you don't remember Freddie Adu?
I do.
Yeah. He was, Brandon, for you, I guess you don't remember, he was like the next, I think they called it the next Pele. He was like an American soccer player when he was 14 years old. He was like put on the U.S. national team to like finally bring us to like dominance in the world when it came to soccer.
Well, he was put on the U.S. national?
Yeah. He was like a phenom, like the definition of a child phenom. First soccer player that had ever been, and then I think that was the last we ever heard of him. Dude. He never did anything. I think he played. Nobody knows what happened to him. He just stinks.
I'm Googling Freddie Adu real quick. And that's a good comparison compared to LeBron as far as the expectations and the phenom.
I didn't want to tip my hat when you said that because I had this on the list, but it was hilarious.
He's our age. He's 30. He's born in 1989. And the big thing was he was American, and he was going to play for the American national team, and all the other
and save the
stars of the world. Yeah, all the other stars of the world aren't American. Dude, he's still playing.
Where?
He
MLS?
Played 2004, 2006, DC United. 2007, Real Salt Lake. 2007, 2011, overseas somewhere. Beneficia. Looks like maybe a Spanish. 2011, 2013, Philadelphia Union. 2013, foreign.
So he's in the MLS. MLS
but he's been a journeyman. Yeah. And 2015, Tampa Bay Rowdies. That's a team. Yeah. 2018, Las Vegas Lights. And then 2020 on, it looks like he's in Germany, the Osterlin FF. So he's had a journeyman soccer career, but I have not heard about him.
No, and he was like a sensation. Absolute, and there had never been a soccer player, at least in our lifetime, there had never been a soccer player that like came close to it. He was a 14-year-old kid who was playing with the big boys, and he was going to save U.S. soccer. And then he is not even able to make a single like respectable team.
So the phenomenal element is the fact that
he was a phenom.
Live up to the hype.
At 14, he was a phenom, and then he I guess that's where he peaked. I don't know.
What other people had that high of expectations that didn't live up to it? I mean,
a bunch of folk like
Ryan Leaf,
Emeka Okafor, Greg Oden. I know it's different because he got injured.
The dude on the Sixers, who's on the Magic now.
Mark Alfaltz.
Oh yeah.
He was
number one pick. But number one pick, there has to be a number one pick every year.
You gotta live up.
There doesn't have to be a phenom every single year.
Right. This guy was hyped up as if he was the next LeBron James, and LeBron, to his credit, has gone on to dominate for literally decades.
Like the phenom was absolutely comparable to LeBron James as far as the expectations early in his career, 14, 15 years old.
Yep.
Damn. And gone with a whim. Damn.
It's all right, Freddie. We love you. We'll miss you. All right. Well, that was good. Do you have anything else on the list, or is that it?
I got one. I mean, that was 4. I got one more.
That was 4. Okay.
I said it was my. You did 5. This is my 5th.
Okay, got it.
This is my lazier one, but still pretty cool. And it's that when humans like get a cut, it heals itself. It's phenomenal.
Yep. Human body in general. I could have put 1,000 things about the human body. That's pretty remarkable. Yeah. That is phenomenal.
In that one episode, we talked about things that they didn't exist. It wouldn't be crazy that if you get a cut, just your stays cut. If
Yeah,
you cut
now you got another
paper,
bleed.
it doesn't grow back. I guess other things in nature do too, like trees and stuff. But just, I don't know. I said this was my lazy one.
There's
I
a
think
lot
it's
that goes
phenomenal.
into that though. Like a human, like Lauren, when she grew, like, she grew a baby. Like eyeballs were forming
Dude,
inside Lauren's
That's
uterus,
crazy.
which
That's
is
crazy.
nuts. And it all started with two microscopic things, and now there's this human being who's like intelligent and learning and picking new things up. That's unbelievable. But also, Lauren's own body developed, like, grew new organs. It grew like a
Milk?
placenta, and then her boobs
Yeah.
like do something now, and like all these instincts that babies have. Just human beings in general, absolutely phenomenal. I think it's a great one though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cuts that heal. I think it's a great example.
Yeah.
Your skin just
And
like regenerates over it, and
That's
then like a week
crazy.
later, it's just
Yeah.
your skin.
And you have a little one, and it's cool to see, right?
It's
Like,
unbelievable.
yeah.
And it's crazy because I've been working from home since March, so I literally get to every single day. I get to spend a lot of time with her, which has been awesome. But like I'll see now she's starting to like crawl a little bit and move around, and like seeing the difference day to day is unbelievable. Like a couple of days ago, she like lifted up on her hands and knees for the first time, and like just she was worked so hard, and she finally did it. And then the next day, like she did it like 3 times, and she was like getting a little bit more comfortable. And now and like you
It's so
see
cool.
day by day, you see how much she grows. Yeah, it's awesome.
Human
Um,
beings are spectacular
she's
creatures.
smart. They're just like she's like emotionally intelligent. She can like
Yeah.
manipulate you. You know, it's like
Already?
oh yeah, like she knows if she cries, she will. You can get what if she'll get picked up if she wants. You know what I mean? So you have to watch out for that. But pretty spectacular stuff. So
It is
I
crazy.
think that's a good one. I don't think that's a cop out. Cool, man.
All right. That's good.
I wanted to say T.J. Henderson from Smart Guy. He could have been one. David Blaine. He can like do all these crazy things. And then we talked about it, but Helen Keller. That whole story is phenomenal. But good stuff, man.
All right. Good stuff. Yeah. All right, Brandon. What's next?
Question 2. David, Sean, bring a news story and tell us about it.
Who's up, Sean?
Let's do rock, paper, scissors, best of one.
All right.
Ready?
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Damn it. Dude, I swear I always lose. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I don't know why. So you won. So I guess you get the pick if you go first or I go first.
You go first. You go first.
All right. So we're going here. My news story is Bitcoin hits an all-time high of 23K per Bitcoin.
Buckle
Now,
up. Yep.
Yeah, so for the audience, we have a meeting like in the middle of the week, and we kind of plan out like the topics and stuff like this. And we did talk about Bitcoin a little bit, but I have my argument more well thought out. So Bitcoin. It's the story, the news story is that it hits an all-time high. It hits an all-time high. It's worth $23,000 for one Bitcoin. And I'm on board with Bitcoin. I've thought about it a lot, and I've been thinking about it a lot over the past 4 years. So let me put together my pitch and
Okay, let's hear it.
tell me. All right. So
To be clear, I'm not like a fervent hater of Bitcoin. I just don't. Maybe you can convince me that it's more.
yes, that's kind of my
legitimate, that
goal.
it will be more widely accepted.
Yeah.
Okay,
When
let's
we
hear
were
it.
talking in the middle of the week, you were kind of just like, I don't know what like,
Yep.
and that's kind of good. That's good because I have talked to other people that say the same thing, and I always say like I gotta kind of work on my personal like reasoning for why it's gonna be it's big. It's a big deal. So my thesis is basically this is a revolution that we are lucky to live in the piece of history of. So, all right. So, do you like save money? Like, do you? I mean, you have a family. Like, like your
Sure.
daughter's college in the future. Like,
Sure.
and you save money in what? Do you have like a savings account with U.S. dollars?
Yes, we have that. We have investments in like a traditional 401k and a Roth
Okay.
IRA.
Okay. All right. So traditional U.S. dollar investment. So the U.S. dollar, every time they print more money, it lowers the value. If you're going to save money and you have $100, you put it under the mattress, and you come back 20 years later, it's going to be worth less because of inflation. So you want to do something better with the dollar. So one way to look at Bitcoin is an investment, and I like to invest in things I believe in. Like
To me, that's the only for me, that's the only thing to
Okay,
believe in is an investment.
okay. So I'm a good investor. I have like 80K like in like investments, and the companies that I invested in, I own shares of Shopify, Facebook, Snapchat, Tesla, and this company Afterpay. And all of these companies that I invest in are things that I know. Like I see, like I invested in Snapchat years ago, the day they came out with their ad platform, and I started using it, and I was like, this is pretty good. And that's way up. Like I own a Tesla. I use Facebook and Shopify every day. I bought this company Afterpay, which is like people financing shit when they buy online, which for like $30, which they shouldn't do. I'm up like 23K profit, 149% of my investments. And I don't look at Bitcoin like an investment like that. But it is an investment in a way. And I mean, I cashed out 22K in Bitcoin. I'm up another 18K. I'm up 742% on my Bitcoin investment. And that's in US dollars. Like, so regardless of what the future of it, it's been a good investment. But you're not investing in a company. What you're investing in with Bitcoin is it's the global it's a revolution. It's the revolution of like personal freedom. So it's digital gold. So what are your thoughts on gold?
What do you mean? It's
Gold.
Yeah, I mean it's rare and like
so the
hundreds
reason
of years ago people assigned value to it, and that's what tax banks.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it can't be reproduced. It has to be mined.
Mhm.
There's a limited amount, and for thousands of years, governments have come and created currencies, but gold across the world has always been a store of value that doesn't go away. And it's just a rock, but it's a great store of value because it is there's a limit, and also there's trust. People agree that it's worth value.
So when gold was first becoming valuable, it's because it's nice to look at, and people made jewelry, and it was like a sign of status because it was rare.
But the reason it has value is because it was rare. Because it had to be mined.
But it was right. But it also was displayed, and like it was again a sign of wealth, and like rich people had gold.
Right. I mean,
and poor people wanted it, and it was rare.
You can't explain why everyone trusts something, but one, it was rare, and two reasons. It was rare, and everyone agreed that it was worth something. Those are the two things that makes gold valuable throughout all of time.
There's a reason people agreed that it was valuable. Like there was
because it was mined.
Isn't it used for electronics too? It's like
it wasn't back then. It wasn't back then.
One of the arguments for gold is that, and I'm going to debunk this, is it's real. It has substance. It's a real thing. It has weight. It's just something you can hold in your hand and actually quantify with, like, this is a real thing in my hand. So yes, the fact that it was mined and it was rare and it couldn't just be easily recreated, combined with the trust and the physical attributes, are the reason why gold has been a store of value throughout all of time, across governments, across cultures. It's a global recognition of value. Bitcoin is just digital gold. It's digital gold. And the government just can't make more of it. The exact same way that gold is mined is the exact same way that Bitcoin is mined. There's only ever going to be 21 million. Right now, there's only 18 million in circulation, and the other 3 million are getting mined. Eventually,
do you know? Can you explain that to me? Like how it's mined?
So how it's mined is if you get it like gives you like math, like complicated math problems to solve. And if you solve them, like you're mining it.
Who like created this?
Well, Toshiki Noshimoto.
Does he have like 1 million Bitcoins?
He's
anonymous.
He's anonymous. No one knows if that's his real name. No one knows where he is. So that was the smartest thing for him to do.
Right. So he's like, it's like he like set up these riddles and like, all right, now if you solve this, you'll get a Bitcoin. Okay.
Yes, and it's not all about like brain power. It's more about machine, like people who mine Bitcoin, they have to have a lot of computing power and a lot of
machine learning and stuff.
It's just like if you want to go mine gold, you got to get your hard hat on, you got to get the pick, you got to go mine it, you got to go physically do it. it's basically the same principle for how you mine Bitcoin. You solve these complicated problems. You need a lot of computing power. You need to put effort into it and money.
What I was reading is like you're solving like a blockchain to help
I
distribute.
know, yeah. But what I don't necessarily know what a blockchain is, but regardless, I understand this.
The blockchain is the recording of the transactions. But so it's gold. It's the same thing as gold. And that's it. So that is the first part. So then,
can I stop? So gold was like cultures all over the world regarded gold as valuable.
Yes.
Like the Native Americans, when we came over, they also found gold valuable, right?
Yes.
So it wasn't like a perceived thing, like how this has
No,
value. So
it has inherent value.
It's like beautiful, and it's like that. You can't say this has nothing to do with it, like jewelry and stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so this wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't created like everyone has to accept this for whatever reason. Everyone had already agreed upon that. Societies all over the world. So it
has inherent traits that make it valuable across cultures. So Bitcoin has the same thing. So it is the same thing as far as its rareness. Now, I said the thing that makes up gold is its rareness plus the trust. So what Bitcoin needs is the trust part. So there's a thing called Metcalfe's law, which is it's the effects. It's a telecommunications thing where it's proportionally the square number of connected users of the system. Basically, it's like a social network that picks up. The more people get it, the more valuable it gets. Because what's Twitter if no one else is on there? I'm tweeting it and no one sees it. Like, but if everyone's on it, it makes it more valuable and it picks up. It's exponential. So like, the more people that agree that Bitcoin's valuable, the more valuable it gets. And that's why this is my news story, because it's at an all-time high. And when the price goes up, that means more people are buying into it. So it needs everyone to agree. And so one of the things I've been paying close attention to over the last 4 years since I first bought it on a whim, and then I sold it, and then I went through a phase where I wasn't believing it, but I've always been paying close attention, is I do see this like underlying community of people who are obsessed with it. And that's why it's the story that people are starting to agree, because I mean it's at an all-time high. And then there's like a strong community. This one time I tweeted to the guy who was on my podcast, John Vallis, I said, I'm a whole coiner, which is like a lingo. Once you own one whole Bitcoin, you're a whole coiner. It was the most retweets I ever got. I got like 600 retweets because it was this community of people. And so Jack Dorsey,
it's very, very like passionate.
People are very passionate about it. There's
because
it's just like,
the more people that buy into it and agree with them, the more valuable whatever they're holding on to is.
Right.
So they have a vested interest in that.
They do. But I mean, it's kind of like, I'm not comparing it to politics, but just like some people are really into it, but then there's like the average people who like, all right, I'll vote for this guy. I don't really care. But like, there's the people who really care. Like, yes, every revolution has to have its core group of people, but it's not just because they're the core group of people. It's also because they're convincing people along the way that are average about it has to have some substance and believability to be able to have this snowball keep rolling of the people. So there's an underlying strong community there. And Jack Dorsey invested $50 million. Elon Musk said it's a far better way to transfer value than pieces of paper. That's for sure. Just for the sake of credibility, a list of people who invested it in the early times: Paris Hilton, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Mike Tyson, Serena Williams, Lionel Messi, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, Austin Kutcher, Kanye West. All these people were invested in Bitcoin from 2013 on.
If I want to follow somebody's lead when it comes to anything, especially thought leadership, it's Floyd Mayweather and Paris Hilton. So I'm with you.
I Googled celebrities who invested in Bitcoin, but my point of this paragraph of this essay of this argument is the credibility. It's not just random eggs on Twitter.
Sure.
It's real people. Not to mention that like this kid I know from college is now working. I looked at his LinkedIn. He's working for this new company. I looked it up. It's like a Bitcoin cryptocurrency like investing company. American Express, McDonald's accepts payments now. Like Microsoft's accepting payments at Bitcoin. Like big companies are kind of getting on board. So the people who like gold, the other thing they say is the physical attribute part. And I've always had trouble wrap my mind around this. They say Bitcoin is nothing. It's thin air. It's nothing. Gold is a real thing. Fuck that. That's bullshit. The fact that it's a real thing is actually a bug. It's not a feature. you can carry your Bitcoin around on your phone. Everyone has a phone. If you have gold, you have to lug around rocks. And most people that own gold, they don't actually own the gold. They own it on paper, which means they have to pay for storage fees. Someone owns a bunch of gold in a safe, and then they're selling like little pieces of it through paper. And then you will say, I own gold. And sure, but at that point, it's basically the same thing as Bitcoin. But the only value is these rocks that are in a
They
shed
also
somewhere.
have it as like decorative pieces, necklaces, earrings.
Yeah, and that's cool.
rings.
I mean,
Right.
right, and that's and like in India, part of the culture is to like pass down gold, and you can use it, and like yes, there is some gold in like watches and electrical wires. Like that's one of gold people's. This guy Peter Schiff, he's a very smart economics person. He's a
Gold
big hater.
fogies.
He's a big hater on Bitcoin. He's a big gold guy, and his main thing he says is that it's a physical attribute. If all else fails and you own gold, you can still use it to make a watch or okay, but I don't buy that. I mean,
So is there any argument that people make that, like, say something were to happen with catastrophic, where like the internet like were to be completely
if
corrupted?
the internet goes off, the world goes off, Bitcoin's done.
Right. Okay. So there you go. That's relatively
That's
significant there.
That's not going to happen.
It certainly
like,
could.
No,
But
like, I mean, well, I mean, okay, no, I mean, the internet across the whole world can go like just disappear. It's almost impossible. There's too many servers that like the internet just can't disappear. But okay, if the
I
internet
don't
could
think
disappear,
either of us know enough about the internet to make an argument.
it doesn't.
On either side of that,
It's like the sun rising every day. I don't think
certainly
the
be
internet's going anywhere.
compromised. Certainly can be compromised. And like
Yes,
okay.
systems can be hacked, but the internet doesn't go away. The people that are hacking systems are using the internet. The internet is such a The internet
It's
is
infrastructure
the internet.
behind it.
Yeah,
Okay.
like
Could be an argument, right?
sure.
I
that,
never
that,
heard.
that could be an
I
argument.
never heard that. I had never heard that, but
If the internet goes away, then yeah, that's bad. But that's a complex thing for the internet to go away. But yes, that's something. So, and the burden of actually carrying gold is annoying. So the other thing is the adaptation of using it on a day-to-day basis. The government does not want this currency to be what we transact in. Now, gold and Bitcoin are the same exact thing. Now, people don't go buy things in gold. I don't go to the grocery store and buy something in gold. Now, you could never do that with gold. Like, we're not going backwards towards carrying gold, but you could do it with Bitcoin. You absolutely could. You could go to the store and buy stuff. No one uses cash anymore. Cash is absolutely ridiculous thing. And I just bought waters today, Apple Pay. Apple Pay, you just scan your phone. It's absolutely feasible that the currency could be transacted with
Digital.
Bitcoin. Now, that's a possibility. And if it's not, say that doesn't happen, then it still could be like gold, where it's like a store of currency. So not only is it a store of value, it's also the potential to be the currency one day. And with gold, you can't chop it up and buy a raisin and a house. Like, it's too hard, but that's very easy to do with Bitcoin. It's actually 1/50th of a 1/50 millionth of a Bitcoin or something like that. It's called a Tashiki or whatever the hell the guy's name is. But that's like the smallest breakdown of Bitcoin. It's like 1/50,
which would be like $1 or a penny or something.
No,
right?
it'd be 1/50th of a penny. That's the smallest you can break down Bitcoin. So that means you can transact with it. And as far as changing the changing of currencies, which would be a big overhaul, there would be a lot of resistance from the establishment of the world. But there is history about changing currencies. 1600 BC, Europe had made the first coins. China had the first paper currency in the 1700s.
This is the world. The world's quite a bit different, but
it can. It's not impossible to believe that we could be using a different currency in the future.
So we would be trading in basically money that's backed in gold into Bitcoin, right?
Dude,
so how does that solve any problem?
Money is not backed by gold.
But money that's theoretically backed by value.
Dude, that's one of the big problems. It's not.
All right. So forget it. But this system that is broken would then be basically turned into Bitcoin. So how does it solve the problem? Because we can't create more?
Yes, exactly.
But then wouldn't it just keep getting diluted and like inflation would happen?
But it's just like gold. Just like gold, it can't. inflation exists because the federal mint puts more paper money into circulation. That's impossible to do with gold, and that's impossible to do with Bitcoin. So inflation can't happen.
Right. But I'm
because
saying, like, on the other end, it would just get diluted. Where, like, right now, everyone who owns it is, if you have one Bitcoin, it's $23,000. If it had to be used by everybody, so what? Like, everyone would sell their Bitcoin. Like, how does like a poor person or a normal person like myself, like, if that transition would happen, would we just nobody would have money except for people who currently have Bitcoin?
that is the biggest question in the Bitcoin world right now is the transition.
And that's why, like, that's.
But it's
impossible.
it's not possible. But it's
Would it happen?
difficult. But it's not. But here's the thing: it's not even required for that to happen for Bitcoin to be valuable, because if it's never the money that we transact in, then it's at least gold. Then
Right.
it's at
I
least a
agree
store
with
of
that.
value.
I'll never say it's not valuable, for sure. I don't understand how it could be currency, how it could replace the dollar.
Well, you understand how it could be currency, right?
Yes, but I don't understand how that transition could not happen.
The transition, I mean,
Unless you give Bitcoin to everybody. You can't
yeah.
just say, because you didn't
Here's the
choose to
thing,
invest
though,
in this,
like,
you now have no money. People will not accept that.
It's kind of scary to think about. So the government controls the money. The government can't control the Bitcoin, and it's kind of nice having like the U.S. government
Unregulated.
No,
but I'm saying, if somebody's rich right now, right, and they chose not to invest in Bitcoin, and then this were to happen, and the transition were to try to happen, a rich person is not going to accept that, because
maybe
then
they
because
could
they
just
didn't choose.
maybe they just exchange their money for Bitcoin, and then they get as much Bitcoin back for as
What
the
if their
value of
money
it.
isn't valuable because
money was
collapse?
Or to who?
Well,
who would they do that to? You'd be selling your Bitcoin and it'd be marked up like crazy. Like, you know what? We're good.
No. See, it'll always be sold at the market price. Like Bitcoin,
but if
gold
everybody was scrambling to get it, then the market price would be crazy.
The market price would go up.
And somebody who does,
that's
it would go
why
up, like, astronomically.
That's why you want to buy it now.
And that's why the people that have it now are the ones that are pushing for it, because they stand to gain so much from everybody accepting it. But the people who don't have it, the people who like can't afford it right now, like, so
you can buy $5 worth.
Okay, so everyone who, like, a poor person right now, say that, like, they're not investing in Bitcoin, right?
No, most people.
So if you have like $1,000 to your name, okay, and this were to happen, like, you're shit out of luck.
Well, I don't know how the transition is going to look, but if you have $1,000 to your name, and somehow the transition happens where Bitcoin is the accepted currency, you just take your $1,000 and you exchange it for the Bitcoin, and then you live in that world, and then you work, you get paid in Bitcoin. I mean, I don't know.
If you're getting paid in Bitcoin, like, aren't you creating?
Well, the biggest problem now,
diluting it more and more.
The biggest problem now with transacting in Bitcoin is the volatility. I would not want to turn on my website and accept payments in Bitcoin.
But it wouldn't be if it was accepted by everybody. It wouldn't be as volatile if it was
exactly. It'll eventually. Experts say that they think it's going to even out. A group of people say $100,000 per Bitcoin. Another group of people say $250,000 per Bitcoin. That's where it's going to even out.
How does a company go from what it has now to Bitcoin? It has to purchase it from who?
So there's exchanges. I have mine on Coinbase. Coinbase, it's an app, and you just. An individual would be selling it to them, or many individuals would sell them. So
when I got
those 600 retweets, when I said I was a whole coiner, and the community was like all behind me, I had probably had like 200 tweets back. 50 of them were get your Bitcoin off of Coinbase. Don't trust Coinbase. You want to hold your own key. So like you can like hold it on your own.
What I'm asking.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying, but I understand that. I understand how it can be, but how, for this transition to happen, how would, like, a company that is worth X billion dollars, how do they transition that to Bitcoin? How does their value of their company transition to Bitcoin? By purchasing Bitcoin from an individual or many. Okay.
Yeah.
So
or mining it.
Okay, but probably not, right? Like, then you have to work for it. That would be like mining gold as opposed to trading whatever you have.
Right.
So, like, why would they do that?
Well, if that's what people are transacting in.
But they have to then purchase It just I don't get it.
Yeah,
It,
I
it
mean,
doesn't. It,
so
like, it doesn't make sense.
so but it makes sense about the digital gold, right?
Yes,
So
and I
you're
understand
stuck,
how it could be used to
right?
transact,
And
but
you're
like the
stuck.
transition.
But okay. So you understand how it could transact. You understand it's
Yes,
digital gold, and the
yes,
confusion is the transition to everyone using it.
because nobody, you could not explain that to me in a way that
But
would
that's
satisfy
not.
me.
And I agree. I can't. But my
Nobody
point
could.
is that's not required for
It to be valuable.
it to be valuable.
Agreed. And I'm not arguing that, but I'm arguing
So
that
you should
it
buy some.
will not. I have some. I have a quarter of one Bitcoin. That
Really?
and this, yeah, and this is, but it's not going to become cash.
You can exchange it for
But
cash.
like,
Then.
You
right?
can sell it
of
for
course.
cash.
I mean, if you
Of
buy
course, of course.
if you buy Disney as stock, it's the same thing.
I know.
As far as an
So
investment.
I'm not arguing against that. I'm arguing that it's an investment, but it is not going to become. It's not going to replace currency. It's not going to replace money.
But
Because that
it does have
Yeah.
the transition is the most confusing part, but it does have the ability to if the transition could ever happen. So my story, my news story is that Bitcoin is an all-time high, which because of the Metcalfe's law means that more people are buying into it.
Mhm.
And this is a moment in time where you might be embarrassed to tell your kids that you didn't buy Bitcoin. It's kind of like when the internet came around and people are like, oh, this isn't going to be anything. Like, I've been thinking about this for years, and my take is it's here. It is going to go way up, and people should buy it. If you have monies in a savings account or if you have money in stocks, like, I mean, you should always diversify your investments, but Bitcoin is gold. And I see people, and I've been watching it over the last 4 years, buy into it. And buying into it is what matters. And it has the attributes to be currency. It has the attributes of real gold. And it is an amazing news story that it's at $23,000 and skyrocketing up.
I agree. It could be like getting into buying Apple stock for 10 cents right
Exactly.
now. But Apple stock would never become currency. It will have value for sure.
But this could, which makes it even more special. Just the
But
fact that
it can't.
I mean, it
The
has
transition. The transition isn't confusing. It's not hard to believe. Like it couldn't happen. How could that happen?
I mean, it's not impossible.
Okay, it's not impossible. But it's like incredibly unlikely.
Sure, I agree. But
So
but Apple stock, but Apple stock could never be currency. Bitcoin could be, and that's just and that gives it a little more power. That gives it a little more power. And if it doesn't, it's at least a store of value.
It feels a little bit like it does feel a little bit like snake oil because the people who are pushing it the hardest are the ones who are invested in it. So like they stand to gain from everybody accepting it because their wealth would increase dramatically, right? Like,
that's a fair argument, but I think that, and I've thought that, a lot. I think it's past
true.
that. It's past that. Like it is a revolution. It is a currency
It almost
revolution.
feels like
I want to be part of the revolution.
I don't think it's a currency revolution, but I think that it's a solid investment and it's exciting and it's new, but it's not going to replace like everyone who says it's going to be how
Sean,
the economy works.
Yeah,
the dollar will no longer exist. Like
it has the
I
ability.
don't believe that.
Sean,
Maybe in like 1,000 years.
Would your business? Okay, so just imagine the transition happen. What if your customers don't have Bitcoin? How would they pay for your clothing?
Right. The transition's confusing, but things that are valuable will still be valuable. Like there's nothing you can build more valuable than a company because it generates value. So whatever people are paying me in, whatever, like I create a company that provides value. I will get whatever exchange in return, whatever the currency is, that's what I'll get. So, right. That is the most confusing part. If it starts to be the currency, how do we get there? And I don't know the answer, but my answer on a simple level might be something like they exchange their money for Bitcoin and then they buy it in Bitcoin and then the price stabilizes. And then that'll be hard to do.
Yeah. Like, and then again, people who hold Bitcoin would then determine the value of it, right? If this had to happen, then like there's no way for it to happen that's not regulated.
It doesn't need to be regulated. It's naturally regulated.
That transition would have to be regulated, or else it's just like a lot of people will have just no money.
Well,
all of their wealth.
The regulation element is the fact that the language we're talking in is U.S. dollars, And
Right.
like, so like,
exactly. So that's one of my points.
yeah,
That's
I mean,
exactly
that's a
right.
fair
So how
point.
does that change? How does
I
that
don't,
change
I
anything?
mean, we would just have to speak a different language, but that's going to be hard because the only
But it
reason,
would, even if we
people understand how much Bitcoin is worth is in US dollars.
exactly. So like, how do we?
That's the same way we understand gold.
How does that change anything?
I don't know.
It's just the value, the wealth changes hands to people that are currently the ones standing on a soapbox screaming about Bitcoin because they would then have the power to determine the price, determine the value.
I mean, no
true.
people determine the price. Like the market determines the price.
If I own a Bitcoin and this were to happen and there's a transition and I own one Bitcoin, I could determine the price. I'm not going to sell it to you unless.
No, because you could just go to these exchanges that.
But
it would be. It's like a stock. Like, if I own Disney and I don't sell it to you and negotiate the price, right. we just both buy it from the exchange.
That's regulated by the SEC. This is not regulated, so you could buy it from me, like
privately. But you wouldn't. I wouldn't negotiate the price. You would just buy it for whatever the market price is. That's like if I were going to give you gold, we wouldn't negotiate the price. We would say how many ounces in it, what's the ounce of gold, and we would just.
But if there's 300 Xboxes and the price of an Xbox is $500 and 2,000 people want to buy it, then some of these 2,000 people are going to pay more than $500 in order to get their hands on it.
But that's not how Bitcoin works. Like, I mean, the market price might go up, and then you might have to buy it at a higher market price. But everyone who buys it is always going to buy it for the market price.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, the same price that fluctuates all the time. But anyone who buys it at the same minute is going to get it for the same price.
What would happen to the price if everybody had to transition to? I mean, like
it will go up
an absurd amount.
Exactly. That's why you want to get it now.
So what if you don't? But what if you don't have an absurd amount of money? And then,
then you get an equivalent amount of Bitcoin.
But then
your life is exactly the same. You can buy the same exact amount of things.
But if I say a Bitcoin was $1 million and I bought one from you, right?
You wouldn't buy it from me. No, you don't buy it from me. You buy it from the exchange. Why? You buy it from the exchange.
All right, guys. All right. It's time to move on.
Okay. Really quick. Let me ask this one question. If I had $1 million and I bought a Bitcoin through an exchange to you and you got $1 million or whatever their service fee is, right? Then you have $1 million of something that doesn't matter, of like $1 million US. How does that help you? Why would you sell it?
I mean, it's a good question. Like, it's not like a item that you sell. It's an exchange. It's open.
I understand, but why would you sell it if US dollars no longer matter? Why would you sell it? What do you stand to gain from selling it?
The exchanges would benefit from the transaction fees.
But how would you, as a person who owns a Bitcoin, if I'm going to sell it to
I don't sell it to a person. I sell it back to the exchange for cash, just like a stock.
But the exchange, why would the exchange sell? Why would, and then
because they make money on the transaction fees. They provide a service. But
maybe we'll take this offline. But
but no, it's a fascinating thing. It's a fascinating thing. My news story this week is that Bitcoin hits an all-time high, and I think it's a global revolution that I'm honored to live in this part of history, to be part of it, and I can't wait to see where it goes. And I think it's fascinating, and I might buy more. All right. I'm glad we had that conversation because I've been saying in our meetings that I want to talk about Bitcoin at one point. I think I have my thoughts well together there. That was a good conversation. And
after thinking about it and having this conversation, I think I'm less convinced. Not because of anything you did. You made good points, but like I am thinking about it in a different way now. But like I said, I did spend a couple $1,000s on. Like I invested a couple $1,000s in it. Yeah. So hey, all right. Very good. So mine's a little bit different. The supply chain. So we're all excited about that COVID vaccine, right? That some people are unconvinced, whatever. But the supply chain for this vaccine is like wholly dependent upon Dippin' Dots.
Wait, what?
Yep.
What? So I'm guessing it has something to do with a freezing or something.
Exactly.
Dippin' Dots. Dude, this is the second podcast in a row we've mentioned Dippin' Dots.
I know. That's why this, like, when I read this, it like struck a chord. So Dippin' Dots is obviously the ice cream of the future. We all know that. And the biggest problem, like logistically, when they first started like distributing, was it has to be stored at like -49, -50 degrees Fahrenheit. Anything a degree or two below that, quality goes out the window. So like that was a huge logistical challenge because like a typical freezer or freezer truck bottoms out at like 0 degrees Fahrenheit. So they had to like figure that out, right? The COVID vaccine similar. It has to be actually stored colder than that, like 80 degrees below zero or something. But the kind of the problem has already been solved by Dippin' Dots. So because Dippin' Dots had this
Really?
supply chain worked out, they called it like the cold chain or something. But basically, they're like mimicking the logistics and supply chain of Dippin' Dots because it's such a like the temperature fluctuates a little bit.
Are they mimicking it, or are they like buying it or using it? Like,
I
is
don't-
Dippin'
I don't-
Dots
I mean-
is Dippin' Dots getting rich, or is
I don't-
Dippin' Dots getting ripped off?
Maybe the logistic company that like came up with the system, I'm sure is getting rich. But at this point, it's become like Dippin' Dots is not the only thing that has to be shipped at that level
Dippin'
or at
Dots.
that temperature. But it like they're pioneers. Thank God for Dippin' Dots, or this vaccine would have hit a wall.
That's a good one.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that is crazy. Because Dippin' Dots, yeah, that's like the most dud tagline ever. Ice cream of the future, and it's just not. Like, but now
the only reason
was
to
worth
ever
it.
eat Dippin' Dots is the novelty.
I haven't seen them in so long.
I was about to
like,
say I don't see them in the grocery store.
Baseball games, you go to sporting
definitely not in
events.
the grocery store.
If you go to
It's
sporting
it's
events,
not the best way to eat ice cream. Like,
It's
I like
significantly worse
yeah.
than ice cream. Way
Yeah.
worse. It just tastes like ice, but it's cool because they're little dots.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like when it was new, when it was the ice cream of the future, and it was like the first time we tried it, it was like, oh, this is kind of cool. But then it's one of those things that's like, I just want ice cream. Like,
Right, exactly. So short and sweet. I know we spent a lot of time talking about Bitcoin, so I don't think there's a whole lot to dive into there. But I thought it was interesting. Thought it was worth mentioning.
that's a good one. Boom.
Awesome.
All right.
All right.
All right. So we're going on to this next segment.
Yeah.
All right.
Lay the groundwork. I can
lay the groundwork. You're the host right
Okay.
now.
So we're doing trivia. All right. We have 9 questions, 3 categories. We have sports, history, and pop culture.
Ready, Brandon?
So the way this is going to work, I'm going to ask each of these gentlemen 9 questions, one by one. So I'll start with one of them. I'll go to the other. If they'll have 30 seconds to answer. If they answer incorrectly or cannot answer in 30 seconds, the other gentleman will have the option to steal for a point. For every question you get right, you get a point. If you get it wrong, you don't lose any points.
Okay.
And at the end of 9 questions, the winner will get to, or I guess the loser will have to do this punishment, sing a song or whatever you guys decided on.
30 seconds of singing. I'm coming out, and you have to sing it at full blast for 30 seconds. You can't stop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. So here's the thing. In order to keep things as fair as possible, I have a list of A questions and a list of B questions. And I will let you both decide amongst yourselves who will be A and B.
B for Brandon.
Okay. B for Brandon.
Do you agree, Brandon?
What's going on?
Yeah. Pay attention.
So
You're on a
I
podcast.
have a list of questions. Okay. There's a list of. Do you want to be contestant A or B?
B.
Okay. There you go. B for Brandon.
That was for fairness.
So,
I respect that.
So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start with 3 sports. We're gonna go to history. We're then gonna go to pop culture.
Okay.
If at any point you need clarification, whatever, let me know. I don't want to hear that these questions aren't fair or whatever.
Okay.
Because, all right, are we ready, Sean?
I'm ready.
Question.
Let's do it,
question
baby.
number
All right, so I'm
question-
answering. I'm answering.
Correct.
And and Brandon, so if you know it, don't say anything unless it gets to you.
Yes.
Okay. Ready.
Question number 1. Since 2004, how many different quarterbacks have represented the AFC in the Super Bowl? Since 2004, how many different quarterbacks?
Okay.
So if one quarterback has been to multiple Super Bowls, that would only count as one. But 4.
So 13 years. Tom Brady 5. Peyton Manning 2. 13.
20 seconds.
13 minus 7. All right. I'm going to say 6.
What's the answer?
6.
The answer is, Sean's answer is 6. Judges,
Oh.
that's incorrect. Brandon,
All
you
right.
have 15 seconds to steal. The answer is not 6.
5.
5. Judges? Nope, not 5. The answer is 4, believe it or not.
Wow. That's really low.
Who are they?
I was thinking, I mean, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Mahomes, and
Roethlisberger
The-
and
Now,
The answer is 5. I'm sorry. The answer is 5.
I knew it. Okay, it's Peyton Manning.
I looked this up for.
fuck,
Yeah,
I
go
shouldn't
ahead,
have said. I
Brandon.
shouldn't have said Mahomes, huh? You didn't count
Yep.
that last year.
No, the question I looked. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, fuck.
Roethlisberger, Kurt Warner,
Nope.
Kurt Warner. No, AFC.
You're missing one. It's Roethlisberger, Brady, Big Ben, Mahomes, and
See, I counted Kurt Warner as my 5, but I knew there was I don't know why.
no,
I just-
Kurt Warner's NFC.
Flacco.
Flacco.
I got it right. 5.
Wow.
5.
Wow, you backed into that one, huh?
Yeah, I'm not feeling great about the rest of these questions. I already had the first answer wrong. All right.
That's
So
cool.
1-0.
That's cool. They're hard.
Fuck, I shouldn't have said
1-0.
Mahomes. I shouldn't have gave it to you.
1-0.
All right. All right, Brandon,
all
you're
right.
up.
Number 2. Who is the all-time leading scorer in the NBA?
This is for me.
This is for Brandon.
Oh, that's
Okay.
a dual Al-Jabbar, Lakers guy.
Okay.
I'm not. I need you to. I need you to tell me the guy's name.
I
Don't Google. I see you looking down. Obviously, you can't.
I
cheat.
know his
All right,
name.
What is it?
Can it not count? Abdul
You have to say the
Jabbar?
guy's name.
No, I mean you gotta say the guy's name. I can't.
Thank you.
Like, I
I'm sorry,
have to
bud.
be perfectly correct.
You have to say his name. Yeah.
If the guy's name was David Hecker, I wouldn't accept like David
Jim Smecker.
Henter. Yeah.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
The answer that Brandon provided was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Fuck. Like, I know
I'm
it.
sorry.
Like, it's just
Incorrect.
Fuck. Like, is
Sean,
it?
a chance to steal, even it up.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
So stupid.
I mean, yeah.
That's correct.
That's a tough beat, but
That hurts, man. But you can't.
yeah.
You know,
the only
I think
only
that
thing
that's-
is the name.
Right. All right. So
All right,
ties it
one
up.
to one.
1-1. All right. Let's talk about the NFL. Sean, who is the last non-quarterback to be selected first overall in the NFL draft? 30 seconds.
I think I know. Jadeveon Clowney.
Jadeveon Clowney is your answer. Final answer?
Yeah. Yes. Fuck.
Incorrect. Brandon, to you, 15 seconds. Who is the last non-quarterback to be selected first overall in the NFL draft? 10 seconds.
1 second. Fuck.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The correct answer is Myles Garrett.
What?
3 years ago. Myles Garrett for the Cleveland Browns.
Was Jadeveon Clowney number one?
He was, but
But it
Myles Garrett was the year after.
Myles Garrett, dude. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
serious?
95
He's
for
the
the
guy that-
Browns.
Yeah, he's hit their quarterback in the head with
Alright.
with his helmet.
Damn. My guess was
where's-
pretty good, but I didn't
Yeah.
get it.
I thought that Clowney was drafted second overall.
No, he was number 1.
Are you sure? I'm looking this
100%
up.
sure.
Yeah, first overall. Yep, that was 20. What year was that?
2014. 2014.
Yeah, and Myles Garrett was 2017. All right.
Damn.
So no points awarded. Still tied 1-1. Brandon, to you. College football. 9 of the past 10 Heisman trophies have been awarded to quarterbacks. Name the one person in that group that was not a quarterback. So who was the last non-quarterback to win the Heisman Trophy?
That's easy. Derrick Henry.
That's correct.
Got it.
Derrick Henry. Sean, did you know that one?
I probably wouldn't have got it, to be honest. I was thinking about it, but damn, he's the only one.
In the past 10 years, yeah.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Sean, to you.
All right.
So this, I think, is going to be surprisingly hard.
Okay.
All right. So what was the last city to host the Olympic Games, either winter or summer? The last time that we had an Olympics, regardless of winter or summer, where was it held?
All right. So it's supposed to
30
be
seconds.
2020, and then it was 2016, and Sochi was 2014.
seconds.
Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Rio de Janeiro is your answer?
Yes.
It's incorrect. Pass to Brandon. Brandon, what was the last host city of an Olympic Games, either summer or winter?
Uh,
10 seconds.
Moscow.
No.
It's incorrect.
What is it?
Pyeongchang, South Korea.
That was very
What?
hard. That was very
Wait.
hard.
Yep.
Well,
2018. It was not that long ago.
dude, no one paid attention. I was thinking, like, it was supposed to be this year, and then it was. I remember it was Sochi, Russia,
Yep.
and I guess Brazil was 2016. Fuck, did anyone watch that
Yep.
one? I didn't not even.
Apparently not, but 2018 Winter Olympics. Isn't that crazy?
What?
I was
Yeah.
That's a fair question, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
All
absolutely.
right, but
fair.
we're still 2-1.
2-1.
2 to
Brandon.
1.
Yep.
2 to 1, Brandon.
All right. This is the last of the sports questions. Brandon,
Okay.
name the two last U.S. cities to host the Olympic Games, winter or summer.
Atlanta and Los Angeles.
Question is, or the answer is the answer you provided is Atlanta and Los Angeles. Incorrect. Sean, the two last U.S. cities to host the Olympic Games. 15 seconds.
Atlanta and Salt Lake City.
Sean says Atlanta and Salt Lake City. That's correct. Salt Lake City 2002 Olympic Games, I believe.
Atlanta
Los
96.
Los Angeles.
Atlanta 96. I knew it was Salt Lake City, but Los Angeles I think it might have been in the 80s or something. I know Atlanta was 96 because that bomber dude. I watched a documentary. Woo!
All right.
We're tied.
So after the sports category, we are tied.
Back up from the microphone like a little
Sorry.
bit. It's all good.
Yep.
2-2 after the
after-
sports category.
Yep,
All right.
That's right. All right. So
This is
Sean,
intense.
Sean,
All right, I'm up.
first question in the history category.
History category, okay.
What is the deadliest battle in American history? What battle took the most lives of any American lives, I should say?
Antietam Civil War.
Correct. Antietam.
Woo! People might think it's Gettysburg.
Yeah, or
But-
I know a lot of people have said like D-Day, but D-Day had like 4,500 casualties. Antietam,
Yeah.
almost 25,000.
That's insane, dude. The Civil War is a bloodbath, dude.
Bloodbath. All Americans too,
Dude,
for the most part. Crazy, but all right, good answer. 3-2.
yeah. Actually, I'm pretty proud of that one.
That's a good one. Brandon. The Star-Spangled Banner was written by Francis Scott Key as he watched the British bomb American forces aboard a ship in what American city?
I'm gonna say New York City.
Which is New York City. Brandon's answer. Incorrect. Sean, to take a commanding 2-point lead, in what city was the Star-Spangled Banner written?
Baltimore.
That was my
Woo!
second. That was my second
For-
thought.
I don't know how I knew
Fort
that, to
McHenry.
be honest.
I was literally
Yeah,
that was my second.
because it had to be on the coast, and I guess I just knew. Yeah, I knew it. All right,
Good answer. All right,
4-2,
4-2.
baby. All right, Brandon.
Sean,
All right, I'm up.
what year was the U.S. Constitution written?
1787.
Correct.
Woo!
1787.
Constitutional Convention, baby.
5-2. Brandon. All right. So you have to use your imagination here a little bit, okay? But say that the Air Force One were to crash today, and both Donald Trump and Mike Pence were on board together, and both perished.
Yeah,
Who would become president?
Speaker of the House,
Which is, do you know who the Speaker of the House is?
Nancy
Attempted to give you
Pelosi.
that, Andy. That's correct.
Oh, nice.
That's correct. All right.
Nice,
So
nice.
5-3. 5-3.
President Nancy. I kind of like Nancy
Sean.
Pelosi a little bit.
Do you?
Yeah,
Pocahontas?
she's kind of cool. All right, I'm ready.
He's old as
All right.
Yeah, she's just like an old and just like kind of like a fucking like she's just
Boss.
like snotty. Yeah.
Sassy.
Yeah.
All right, Sean. What is the least populated U.S. state? The least populated U.S. state.
Wyoming.
Correct.
Woo! What's
I'm
the
surprised
score?
You knew that.
Doesn't
6-3.
that give him the win?
Not necessarily,
No,
Oh, okay.
because it's not like
you could steal.
you could both get points each round.
Okay.
All right, so 6-3. Brandon.
6-3.
Other than Hawaii and Alaska, which was the last state to join the Union?
Last
Mm.
state. Last state.
Mm.
Last state. My guess is going to be New Mexico.
Incorrect. Good guess.
Okay, so besides for Alaska and Hawaii, the last state to join the Union, I know Texas was like 1840.
10 seconds.
Texas.
Incorrect. Correct answer is Arizona.
Arizona. Interesting.
February 4th, 1912. Brandon, New Mexico was right before that.
Oh, man.
Good guess.
Yeah, good guess. All right, so after 2 rounds, we are sitting at 6-3. Sean, is that correct?
That's right.
All right.
And what's the last category?
Pop culture.
Pop culture. Okay.
Pop culture. All right. So, what is the first movie
Who's this to?
in which
Sorry.
this is to you? This is to you.
me. Okay.
Yes. What is the first movie in which Seth Rogen and Jonah Hill appear in together? 30 seconds. Not necessarily starring roles.
Knocked Up.
Sean's answer is Knocked Up.
Ah.
Incorrect.
My gut just says super bad, right? It has to be, right?
Answer super bad. Incorrect.
Ah.
Both good guesses.
What is it?
40-Year-Old Virgin.
Ah.
Oh.
Wait, Seth Rogen was
I don't even
the
remember
friend.
Jonah Hill in that.
Yeah, who's Jonah Hill?
He had like a small part. He was a shopper in like Kevin Hart.
Oh,
was
at
also
the
in that
eBay
movie.
at the eBay store.
Mhm.
He's
Mhm.
like
He's trying to sell roller skates.
Yeah, no, and I remember he's like,
Can I just
can I just give you money? He's like, no, I sell it on eBay. Damn it, that was Jonah Hill. He was super fat then.
Yep.
Dang.
Number 2 and 3 were Knocked Up and then Super Bad. So
All right,
all
so I
good
would have had
guesses.
him beat. All right.
All right, Brandon, to you. What year was the very first iPhone released? In what year did Apple release the first iPhone?
I think I know.
My gut says 2003.
Brandon, your answer is 2003. Incorrect. Sean, to you.
The Lord's year of 2007.
2007 it is.
Woo!
2007. All right.
All right, you need a
Good
miracle.
Answer. Crazier things have happened. It's not that hard for him to come back. All right. So 7-3. To you, Sean.
All right.
Who has hosted Saturday Night Live more than any other host? Who has hosted SNL the most frequently?
Alec Baldwin. Woohoo!
Alec Baldwin is correct.
I'm on fire, baby. I was thinking him or Tom Hanks. I remember they did like a thing where it was like the 5 timers, and it was like him, Tom Hanks.
For brownie points, how many times do you think Alec Baldwin has hosted?
I'm gonna say 11.
17.
Ooh, wow,
Crazy,
that's
right?
a lot.
17. A lot.
Damn, he's basically like a cast member with doing.
He's not even
Tom
that big
and
of like a
Hanks.
star.
Yeah, he's really like. I agree.
Uh,
I mean,
but yeah,
wow. All right.
Brandon, staying with the SNL theme, who is the most tenured SNL cast member of all time? Who is the longest running SNL cast
Ooh, I
member
know.
of all time?
Fuck. What's his name? Keenan Thompson.
Correct.
Nice.
That is correct. 8-4. Right.
Yeah.
8-4.
Okay.
I'm coming out.
Okay.
All right.
Oh my god.
All right. 2 questions left.
All right.
Sean, during awards season, celebrities are often clamoring to grow closer to the coveted accomplishment known as EGOT. What does EGOT stand for?
Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony.
That's correct.
Woo! Did you know that, Brandon?
Uh,
I guess you could say
No.
yes.
You
Whoopi
should've just said
Goldberg.
yes.
I think Whoopi Goldberg has one.
You know who else? Your favorite, John Legend.
He does?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like playing 2 sports. Like you just kind of do it to like try to get it.
You have to. I feel like you have to be a musician because you have to like write a song.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Um,
How did he get it? How did John Lennon get an
Tony.
Oscar?
Tony, you would have to be in a play, right? Broadway play.
yeah, like I think writing
Yeah,
a song.
a play. Yeah. He probably got music. Music
He
for a
won
movie.
Glory. Him and Coley won.
Okay. Music
Um,
for a movie. He wasn't like acting, but he still technically won.
I don't know that. I guess maybe Whoopi was an actor.
I heard you got one. I don't know.
Very good. All right, last question of the day. Kind of a formality right now. With 2,046 million followers, this athlete holds the title of the most followed person on Instagram. 246 million followers.
246 million?
I would have to say, what the fuck is his name?
Abdul Jabbar?
I'm guessing this is, let's just say LeBron James, but I know it's someone else.
Nope, I'm sorry. Wrong sound effect. Wrong sound effect. That was incorrect.
I know who it is. I just can't think of his name.
I have 2 guesses, but I'm going with Cristiano Ronaldo.
That's who I was thinking of. That's exactly who I was thinking of. Yeah.
Woohoo!
For no bonus points, can somebody tell me who's number 2?
Floyd Mayweather.
Not an athlete.
Oh,
Not an
not an
athlete?
athlete? Justin Bieber.
That's what I thought too. No, Ariana Grande.
Oh, Ariana big. She's not even that big. All right,
I
Brandon.
think she's like 5'2".
So that was what was the final there? 9 to
4.
10
That was
to
a
10 to 4.
landslide.
Yeah, that was.
It's all right, Brandon. I'm smart.
I don't know. I kind of like got thrown off when I messed up on the Abdul Jabbar. I was like,
Yeah.
So that affected your ability to know the other ones.
I was like angry at
All right.
myself.
So then you just like forgot. Okay. All right. Yeah. All
So
right.
we'll do the punishment at the end.
No,
Yeah.
let's do it now.
Y'all hear it?
Oh yeah, we hear it. Yeah.
All right. I don't know when to start. I'm coming out. I'm coming. It literally just says I'm coming. I'm coming out. I want the world to know.
Hold
Got
it.
to let it show. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. I got to let it show. There's a new me coming out, and I just had to live, and I want to give. I'm completely positive. I think this time around I'm gonna do it like you never do it, like you never knew it. Oh, I'll make it through. The time has come for me to break out the shell and have to shout that I'm coming out. And I gotta wait for the chorus to come again.
I feel like I'm there.
Yeah. I'm coming out. I
Woo!
want the world to know. Got to
know.
let it show.
Let it show.
I'm
Let it show. Let it
coming
show.
out. I want the world to know. I got to let it show. This has to be 30 seconds.
Yeah.
All
right.
All right. I put effort into it.
Well done.
Thank you.
Very good. Very good.
That wraps up the first round of trivia on the Sean Lowery podcast.
Yeah, I like the trivia. That was fun.
We gotta do it again. Yeah. Maybe it's gonna be Sean versus David next time.
Oh,
I'm in.
all right.
Is it time for David's videos of the week?
Let's do it, baby.
Right. Cool. So this is going to be a little bit different. This is kind of in response to Sean's incredibly misogynistic take that women do not belong in football. No, these are just two funny ass videos from. There's something called the Lingerie Football League.
Yeah.
So
This is like.
Oops, hold on. I have to. What's up?
I can just imagine a bunch of like dudes fucking eating chicken wings, like yeah.
Oh, you mean like in the?
I wonder if
Just
they like.
who would watch this? Who like?
I
Who's
wonder
the
if they
audience
like
for
they
this?
share showers or like.
Okay.
What does the girl do?
There it is. Didn't take long.
Yeah.
I was hoping. That's kind of half the reason I chose this video. Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Oh no! What happened? Technical difficulties on my side.
All right, Lingerie Football League. Like, is
Don't
this something
look.
they play like during like halftime of the Super Bowl on their account?
Sorry, can you guys hear it too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Start over.
It's beautiful.
God damn it! Megan! We covered this shit over and over! Listen, come here. We have covered that a fucking million times. Your job is the weak side tight end, not the fucking quarterback! Well, fucking watch her! That's your only responsibility! Shake it off! Get out there! God damn it!
He's kind of nice with it. Shake it off.
That's amazing. This guy's taking it so seriously. Sure, she got burned again.
Get her out! I don't want her in there! Son of a bitch! She's keeping them in this game. No more! She's fucking done. You're only listen to me, Megan. It's 4th and fucking 12. What do you think they're gonna do? Run the goddamn ball? You've got to get deep! Fucking A! Fucking sick! You cost us 2!
The yellow.
Oh my god,
I mean,
you're
you
like
cannot love that guy anymore. Like, what a
like
foot
they're in
women-
these little short fucking like underwear with their tits out under their shoulder pads, and like
Your job's the weak side linebacker. Jesus Christ. That's true.
I
I don't
think
want to
people
fucking
want
in there.
defense
What do you
in
think they're
that
gonna
game.
run the ball? It's 4th and 12.
And like, she doesn't know. You know what I mean? She doesn't have any
She's
sense
like-
about that. Or- this guy's scratching and he's
she was
scratching and clawing
safety-
for like
she-
a local college job. You know what I mean?
She was
He's
a
doing his
safety.
damnedest.
She was like the safety in that case. Like she was up too close, and she didn't
Creeping
even, like,
up. And did
cover
you see she got burnt? She got burnt by like 5 yards.
Like
And this guy,
what is this league? Like what is?
it's like, look at this.
There's some pretty good fans though.
I mean, she's burnt. She got burnt. What is she
Yeah,
doing?
that's like
Imagine
20
being this guy
yards
though.
of
Like,
space.
he's
What do you think they're gonna
dying.
run the ball?
He's grinding for a college job. You know, he wants a job at a junior college, try to start climbing the ranks. He schemes it up perfectly, and she just doesn't
Like,
understand football. Or
he
whatever.
said-
So
he said-
technical, like,
He said
cover the
we
weak
went
side
over.
tight
He said
end.
we went over this. Like I wonder what their practices are like. Like if they're just
Look at her
like,
face.
Your job is the weak side tight end, not the fucking quarterback! Well, fucking watch her! That's your only responsibility! Shake it off! Get out there! God damn!
She was watching the quarterback. So I love that. This guy is coaching for his life out there.
Dude, I love it. I love
But
it.
technically, her responsibility was to watch the tight end both times, and it's 4th and
She got
12.
torched.
And
Got torched.
she's still looking at the quarterback on 4th and 12. Like,
but
And this
like,
guy's taking it so seriously.
but like the funny part is like he said he went over it. Like I bet you, I can imagine him with like a whiteboard and like drawing
How
up all these
frustrating.
plays, and the girls
Yeah.
are just like, they're, like fixing their hair or something. Or, I
He
don't know.
schemes it up perfectly. Like they probably signed up thinking it's gonna help like their modeling career or something.
Yeah.
You know, dude, they're getting chewed out of the sideline in front of 3,000 people.
That
Oh,
that,
God.
that crowd looks like good, like
Decent.
decent crowd.
I wonder why.
Like what is this league? I see that on the guy's shoulder, both of their shoulders. LFL. I'm assuming that's ladies football league, not their shoulder.
Lingerie.
Oh, lingerie
Football League. This is number 2. Different game, different coach, but like I just love the passion and how seriously they take everything. So
You mean to tell me you gonna let that motherfucker mush you down there like that and you ain't breaking that bitch's face right now? You mean to tell me you gonna allow that motherfucker to do what she done and you didn't come out here and try to break her fucking neck, and even you can't find her teammate and break her fucking neck for what the fuck she done to you down there? You mean to tell me you ain't got that kind of evil streak in you? I would literally hike the ball and punch that bitch in the goddamn face. Are you crazy? Don't ever let anybody do you like that.
It's like the Saints coach.
That's
He got
motivation
fined,
right
He got
there.
fined and fired.
That's motivation.
Break
Yeah,
your
Greg
fucking
Williams.
neck.
he just got fired again. I mean, you
Dude,
gotta
like-
love these guys. They just cannot. They can't
They take
give it up. They
seriously.
can't get out of football. They
So
have
this
to.
is
They have
tackle.
one
This is
speed.
tackle.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like they have the pads
Tackle
on, and
football.
he's talking about.
He doesn't
Right.
look at her boobs or anything. She like straight in the face. Like
That's what you gotta love about these guys is that they're just there for the football,
she's
and
yeah,
they
for
like
real. Yeah.
like they can't separate it. They like these guys probably live and breathe football. All they think about, all they talk about. They work all week, and then this girl lets the team get shown up. The other girl gets torched for 2.
I like never seen this league. Like, what's like the line situation? Is this 7-on-7?
I think it's 7-on-7. Let me see.
Let me see the line
Yeah.
situation. Like it's like the blocking. It's probably
it's made for
7-on-7.
passing. Right? It's not.
Well, the guy said, "What do you think they're gonna run it?"
It's a fucking all-star game! It's a fucking all-star game!
They have an all-star game.
It's a fucking all-star game! It's a fucking all-star game!
It makes me wonder. Is it like WWE where it's like
Motherfucker! It's an all-star game!
I mean, they're mic'd up.
All-star game!
What happened?
Oh, that one sails out of bounds.
Dude, those stands are packed, dude.
Fucking all-star game!
The stands are packed.
All-star game! What the fuck are we doing? It's a fucking all-star game!
This league looks like it has a following. The girls are.
so pissed. Girls are bringing it up.
Dude, this is like look at that, like one chick, like they're big, man. Like this is
yeah, they're all about the
There
size
was-
of the like all the guys.
there was-
yeah.
There's an old classic Barstool video where Portnoy at halftime, of one of these games, he was like tasked with tackling one of these in the open field. Like she
Yeah.
started at one goal line, he started the other, and they're warming up. And some of these girls are big. And he
Dude,
like looks at the
yeah.
camera. He's like, "You tell me if that girl doesn't catch me at the wrong time, that's not going to be a problem. Tell me I'm not going to get trucked."
Did he get
there's
trucked?
A chance? No, I mean, like not even close. He brought her down easily, but
oh really?
yeah, it's pretty
Damn.
funny.
So like this, I wonder what like the background is of all the people involved in this league, the players and the coaches. Like, it seems, dude, the WNBA. You never see stands
So-
like that.
I know there's like I said, 3,000-4,000 people in there, more than some hockey games.
If WNBA did
Told me he was gonna
lingerie,
get an
they would
oil
be.
change.
Yeah, like they're playing into the tits in the ass, but
Yeah.
also the football. So it's like, I wonder who their audience is.
So we're in Baltimore. We're gonna
Let me see
do.
if I can find this really quick.
It's the lingerie
Sure.
football league. Like this
And
is the
then-
most. This is the most attention I've ever paid.
Good luck.
to
That's
it.
how you.
I
By the
didn't
way, that's how
really
you. That's how you. Yeah.
Their tits
so
are just
weird. All right. Bye.
fold it up, like so
like-
you got like they have shoulder pads, but you can still see their tits. Like that's hard to do.
Oh,
That's big hits.
they're gonna get someone fucking murdered in this game. Somebody's. This is one of those things you.
He's dressed up like a
100 times better than weird haircut, Seth. Like no.
Look at that.
So just to give people an update too on what's happening at halftime, I'm gonna try to tackle one of these girls. I don't know who. I feel like this could be a Digstown situation where who knows, comes out from under the stadium. But that girl who was just run down the sidelines is faster than I am. So you keep saying you don't think there's any way I can get trucked. I think there is a way I can get trucked. We'll find out. Look at
changes.
Look at this girl walking out. You tell me if she gets me at the wrong moment, that couldn't be a problem.
Is
Got it.
Angela Rippin?
Yeah, I thought. Yeah.
damn.
Just got 2 more games ahead of us.
Yeah, just as
Where's
tall
the-
as her, him. Yeah, like.
4'2" girl. I don't know what that says about anything, really.
It's going down!
Girl looked a lot bigger, a lot stronger, a lot tougher when she took her shit off. Like, a lot tougher.
Here it is. From BarstoolSports.com, ladies and
This is the tackle.
Dave Portnoy. Gonna help me count it down. 5,
I think this is what separates men from women when it comes to football. It's like,
Dude, she's little though.
Got it.
She's little.
it's just no contest.
Dude,
Yeah,
they should have brought out one of the big girls.
Exactly. Like
He got it easy.
But yeah, that was
Dude, the revenue of the league is $6.6 million. I'm gonna look up the WNBA.
Is this still operating?
I don't know. WNBA 60 million. So, I was just wondering in comparison. Is the LFL still active? In 2019, LFL season is 10th and final season. It says Legends Football. It says Legends Football League. Is that the wrong thing?
They must have changed. They must have rebranded it.
Interesting attempt. Making a league is so interesting. Like
hard.
Like we have inherent love for baseball, basketball, football as Americans. So like it's, if you want to start Cronum or something different, that's hard. So they try to play on like a sport that already exists with like a new audience. And 10 years, man, I don't know. Those are great videos. Like I never even knew about that league. Legends Football League, but Lingerie Football League. Damn. They had packed stands for a few of them. Brandon,
that was an all-star game.
Brandon,
it's an all-star game.
And the fact that they have an all-star game gives it the league credibility.
What's that?
Would you go to one of those games?
Yeah, definitely.
Hell yeah.
Y'all ready?
Yeah.
All right. It's time for Brandon's Big Points. All right. Question 1. I have 3. They're
3 big bites. Let's do it.
They're all different, but we're gonna start with this one. All right, what's one cause other than your family would you die for? Like sacrifice yourself for?
I'm gonna go ahead on a limb and say probably nothing. To be honest with you, like there's nothing that I'm that. Like, would I save the world if it meant me dying? Sure. If it was life and death, but I can't think of like a cause that I would die for.
I would absolutely die for the country.
Yeah, but that's not. Is that what you're asking? I think he's asking more like, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brandon, but like pro-life versus pro-choice. Like you die on that hill. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, like literally, like take a bullet kind of thing, like Jesus, like die on cross type of thing.
Got it. Okay.
I mean, I would die for the country.
I die for the country.
I don't want to. I don't want to.
Here's a question: how many people would you have to save in order to like die? Like strangers. If there's a building,
like
if there's 50 people in a room,
minimum 8 people.
That's pretty. That's
way lower than me.
I was gonna say like 20,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say like 100. If there's like 100 people,
I'm not. I mean,
8.
I'm selfish.
That's noble, Brandon.
That's noble. That's very noble. 8. You would die for 8 strangers. I mean, that's noble as fuck. Just go with it.
Yeah.
I would die for like 10,000 strangers. I don't know, man. Strangers? I don't fucking even know.
What about like 9/11? If you could prevent that, would you die?
No,
how's my glory?
You just said 8 people. That was like the most significant national tragedy of our lifetime. And you said, nah, that's it.
So
I'm sitting that one out.
Because the government did it.
Would you die for the 8 people or would you not?
I'm gonna go ahead and say no. That was a resounding. I would not die to prevent 9/11. So I don't think that the 8 strangers. I think.
Yeah, just because even if you think the government did it, doesn't mean those people weren't innocent. I would go on the selfish route. Now, dude, I mean, I'm assuming, Hecker, that you would die for your daughter.
Yeah. Either
she's so young.
I live with.
Both the people you live with.
I mean, that's no question.
I mean, right. That's.
Sean says she's so young.
Like, let's just see how she turns out. I'm joking.
But you're saying I thought you meant she's so young, like she has her whole life ahead of her. Of course, like that's a no-brainer.
No, I meant like wait to see how she turns out before you die for it. That's a joke.
It's a joke. Yeah, I know. It's a good one, Sean.
I'm sure I would die for my kid, probably, maybe. Would I die for Shelby? Like, god damn, dude. I mean, the one time I forget where it was, but I think it might have been Live at Lunch, what me and Shelby do, and someone asked, like if we would die for one another, or something like that, or if you two, someone asked Shelby, if you two were on a life raft and only one person could live, and Shelby said me.
She said Sean?
Yeah, she said she said me. So
And you probably said, that's good. Like, we can agree on this.
I said, well, she went first, and if that's what she wants, then
It reminds me of Curb. That Curb Your Enthusiasm episode where they're playing like the Newlywed Game.
Yeah.
They ask which one of your friends would you want, and everyone says, nobody. Like, no, I could never do it. My wife. And Larry says cha cha. They're all like, but like Shelby already played her hand. I hope you said her.
I mean, I just want.
I would definitely sacrifice myself for Lauren, but
I mean, I think if it came down to it, I would. But
it'd be a hard decision for her.
With a 9/11 question, I guess like how much glory do I get after my death? Because we talked about this before about saving a school shooting and not getting enough glory for it. I mean, I'm halfway joking.
That would be. Although, like, if the plan never unfolded, then it wouldn't have the significance that it does now. So, like, nobody would know, even if you knew how many lives it saved. Like, you wouldn't quite grasp the entire.
It would be.
Impact.
You wouldn't get the glory of saving 9/11 because 9/11 wouldn't be a thing because you saved it. I mean,
so it sounds like a resounding no from both of you.
If it came down
overwhelmingly,
if it came down to like a reasonable thing, like I would do it.
Would you save the world if you could?
I mean, yeah.
You have to say yes because otherwise, the thing about that is like otherwise,
the world includes your family.
You're gonna die either way,
and the world includes you.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I mean,
you ever see the movie The Box?
I was thinking about that. I've never seen it, but I know the premise.
No,
it's
haven't.
like if you hit this button, yeah, go ahead.
If you hit this, there's a box. If you hit this button, then some random person in the world will die, and you'll get $1 million.
Would you guys do that?
You press the button.
Oh my God!
So it could either be like the president or like some hobo, like.
And I've seen the movie, so I'm gonna say no.
How's it play out in the movie? Just tell me. I don't care.
It's like somebody they know.
Yeah.
It's like their brother. Or something.
Of course, it comes back.
It's like, damn it! Out of 8 billion people, it's my brother. I would do the right thing in the situation. If you ask me a number,
it's not like they're saying we'll take $1 million from you. It's like you get something that you've never earned. It wasn't yours. So
yeah,
okay.
I'm all about
easier said than done. Though.
I'm about earning my money. I probably wouldn't do that for $1 million. But it's a good question, and
for a free ad campaign on Facebook.
My real answer is probably like 38.
Maybe 38 people.
3,800.
3,800 people. Okay.
All right.
I mean, that's fair.
That's fair. Yeah. All right. So question 2. All right, this is like a take that I always had. So I believe if women wanted true equal rights. Are you there, Sean?
Yep.
Okay, I believe if women wanted true equal rights, they should be on the front lines in war, and they have to sacrifice their lives like the men did in many generations in World War II. So what's your opinion on that?
If we had women on the front lines, we would lose.
Well, I just believe women, if they want equal rights, they should have to do the same thing men did in World War II. Like, millions died.
I mean, to be fair, the three of us have never sacrificed a goddamn thing.
Yeah. But, yeah.
I said I would die for my country.
Yeah, but you didn't enlist.
You didn't die.
Well, right. I provide more value by the jobs I provide rather than my service.
But it's kind of like the theory of, like, not the theory, but like women aren't on the front lines now. So
you're fucking sexist, is what you're saying.
Are they not? I thought women were allowed to be. Are they not allowed like in infantry?
Well, you got to factor in a war situation the biological differences. Men are stronger.
Sure.
So that
and camaraderie, like you can't ignore the fact that like a locker room with one girl in it is going to be a little bit.
It's
going
true.
to be affected by that one girl.
That's true. And I think that is like a little bit of a problem in the military. Patrick Bet-David, my boy, talks about he was in the military and any girl that was there, like people, he said something about like she looks a lot prettier when no matter who it is, if it's the only one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good point about the camaraderie too. I mean, women did a lot in World War II. A lot of them were nurses.
They saved the country.
And a lot of them played in the
men when the men were
they played in the baseball league with Tom Hanks.
And they took up manufacturing. And
Yes,
Well,
yes,
well-
they,
kept the
yeah, they
country afloat.
absolutely took up manufacturing. They
Kept
they
the country
sent-
running.
They kept the country running.
Way they saved the country.
My point is that like
You
men
hate women.
have to die.
Yeah.
Men have to die. Women don't.
I mean, like
I guess
we would lose if we sent
But
them.
also, like, even and this is gonna maybe rub you guys the wrong way, even in a world where we have equal rights, and you can argue we do or don't, like, men have it easier than women do. Like,
Well,
maybe
I
it's
can
because
believe that.
biologically,
Yeah.
like,
Well,
men have
Brandon, let me ask you this question. So men go to war, and you say they like deserve more rights. Like, what rights should women not have because they don't fight on the front lines?
It's not that I don't want them to have like less rights. I just want them to realize that there is the difference between men and women, and that men should have this standard of like.
See, the way you framed it, you're saying they deserve more rights.
I don't know what more rights I would want. I just want to be
maybe instead of having them having more rights or having less rights, it's that they should be required to.
It's just about one
Yeah, the
strong
front lines.
opinion about equal rights with men and women. It's like there's millions of generations of men like they never carried their last name on because they died in war. Like women didn't have to.
Most
do
of
that.
the current Americans like have not.
Yeah.
And nobody's been forced to.
There hasn't been waves of us to go to war. Vietnam was the last
Vietnam.
draft. That was. I mean, that wasn't that long ago, but still, 50 years
I know,
ago.
but I'm saying like, yeah, that's true. But this generation,
It's just
ours-
my one strong opinion about it. I don't know.
Like, but the fair question back is, so maybe
What
they,
would you
maybe they, maybe they don't like
can't drive cars.
like I wouldn't like what you just want the admiration or the you never did shit, but like
It's not. Yeah, it's not. I don't want admiration. I just. I don't know. I just.
I don't know. This is you got a losing question here. Like
If this is your one strong take,
It's not the strongest.
I think you gotta find another one. Doesn't seem that strong.
Well,
You don't seem
I
that
guess
convicted
I'm
around it.
coming from a point where, like, culture is like women say like men ain't shit, like men are toxic, men, bad. It's just like, well, I don't know. Men have to do certain things that women don't, and it's always been that way.
well, what would be some other things besides war?
Shovel snow.
I mean, I don't disagree with that. I just shoveled snow. Sucked.
Yeah.
I hated it.
Yeah, my mom was
But-
talking about this storm. She's like, I just don't know who's gonna shovel my driveway. But like, women shovel snow. Like they like. I
Yeah.
mean,
My neighbors.
this is Brandon's small bite.
A small bite. Yeah.
I mean, what the hell? So we want to send girls to war and then we lose, or what do you want to take away from them today?
We wouldn't necessarily lose. Have you ever seen Mulan?
Yeah, it's my favorite Disney movie.
True.
Is it? All right.
Yeah.
So there's evidence.
Brandon, this is one of your worst bites.
All right.
It's all right.
It's okay.
Though. It's okay. I mean, it's just
All right.
like you got to. It's a reasonable question, right? What right should we take away?
It's not like a takeaway or add. It's just
Well, you said
Kinda
if women
just-
want equal rights,
well, it's not. Yeah, it's
you're
the
implying they
equal
shouldn't be
rights-
equal.
No, I'm implying that men and women are different, and
Yeah.
that men have more responsibilities, and because of that, they'll never be truly equal. Like you can
So
have
what
the same
others-
rights, but
so
men
be-
and women are never going to.
So continue on,
truly
like
equal.
war, and shoveling snow. What other like? I mean, shoveling snow is like a little bit of a joke. War is a serious one. Like, what other things?
Well, in society, like men have to be the breadwinners, or they're considered.
They don't have to be.
Well, I mean, it's opinion, but I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, you've seen me and Shelby run this company.
Yeah.
Look at that girl's a fucking powerhouse, dude.
Yeah.
Like she's running like all these fucking packages, all this logistics. Like she does more than me on the operations. Like, and she's like, so I don't have any leg to stand on when it comes to in my life with my wife. Like I don't have any. There's nothing in my life where like
Well, I guess
it's like that for me. I cook equally as much as she cooks. We both run the company equally. Like, and I'm not even some like. I'm agreeing. I understand your sentiment about like, yeah, men are like stronger.
I'm gonna add more to it. It's like it's the part that like men have to lead in a relationship. Men have to like court a girl. They have to pursue sex.
Is that what this is about?
It's like it's a snowball of things. Like it's just men have to do more things to succeed, I guess. Like or to keep the rights, I guess.
I don't know if I'm with you that that's the case. I mean, the example I just used is a good example of me and Shelby running the company, and like that's just my one example. But like none of that stuff
also works.
Yeah. Like I mean, Lauren does great. Like,
busts her ass. Yeah. She does.
Like financially, and provides for your family. Like if you lost Lauren's income, like would you guys be in trouble?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I mean, I'm trying to help you out a little bit. Like there's none of those things. Women don't like. They don't have. None of those things are have tos.
Right.
But they're like, what? I guess what you think is it about dating? Is it about asking out girls and stuff like that?
Well, you gotta think. Okay, if both of y'all lost y'all's jobs, would y'all's wives see y'all in the same like way, or see y'all as like the same amount of like strength in the relationship? Like, no, they all wouldn't. But if a woman did, a man would have to carry it. Like,
I mean, it's situational.
If I lost my job, my wife would not see me as any less of a man. If that's what you're saying, I'm very confident in saying that.
I mean, I would agree in your case. I mean, I can't really lose my job, but like,
right. But if your business fails,
well, I guess I am coming from a point of dating because y'all have a wife, and I have to.
That's what I think. That's what I think you're getting at. That's what I think you're getting at.
This like these things like set in stone for women to see. I guess me as
I don't know about that though. Maybe that's like.
So Brandon's talking about his dating. Brandon's talking about his dating life.
No, sure. Well,
it's okay.
Whatever. It's not a bad thing. But
Go ahead, X.
It's the way I would say that preconceived notion is probably less accurate than it has been, and maybe doesn't apply for everyone. Like you can't take that as fact because I would say like. It's rare. Maybe it could be cultural thing down south, but it's like rare that that's the case. If anything, it's the opposite, where like they want equal rights, so they're not going to be the ones looking to us to be the breadwinner. You know, they're independent. At least most of them are.
I mean, every person is individual. I mean, me and you both have like strong relationships. We're married with working wives. A lot of people aren't. A lot of wives don't work, but I feel like out of all like our friends, like all the wives work, right? Like, but Brandon, are you talking about like how men have to court women in like the dating world?
Just like, I guess the word like you like, yes, but expand that idea to like war, to like
paying for dates.
Yeah. They have to court society. Like I'm putting that idea, but I'm expanding it to war. Like basically like they have to,
let's bring it back from war to dating
for the world. But yeah.
But you never fought for the world.
Well, I'm just saying, like in general.
All right. But like, all right. You got another one?
All right.
I mean, I'll talk about your dating life if you want.
No, you're good. You're good.
You go out,
pack some stuff.
You go out there, I
don't have many issues with dating. It's just like. I don't know. Like, if you want to get the best, you have to be the best, kind of thing.
Well,
like,
absolutely.
Well, that's
absolutely fair.
True.
That goes for both ways.
Right. Exactly.
Well, a woman can be pretty, and they can still get the best.
I disagree. Like the best meaning, maybe making the most money. But if you're like a complete dickhead who only cares about a girl's looks, then like you're a complete dickhead, and she's not getting the best. She's getting a dickhead. But if it's like the complete package, a guy that's like rich,
looks help,
looks help for sure, rich, handsome, and like a good guy and like a loyal person, then you know they're gonna be a good judge of character. Their wife's gonna be well rounded and be strong and not be just a freeloader.
Looks help for sure.
Yeah. What's that? I'm not saying they don't.
Well, I feel like that's what like Brand like.
No, it's not. No, I mean, I don't know. Yeah. All right, we're going to question 3. All right, question 3. If you could date another race or culture, who would it be and why? Like if you weren't
Hmm.
married, like another culture you're interested in.
I look at people as individuals. I don't know, like a black chick, like I don't care. Like it would have to be someone who's like I don't care about skin color. I don't like someone that's like it'd be hard to date like a devout Muslim who spent the first 25 years of her life in Iran. Like that might be more difficult because of cultural backgrounds. Like I would lean towards more of an American background, and there's more like maybe black American chicks. So I'd maybe say black just for that. I mean, I don't care a fuck about skin color, but when it comes to a relationship, like yeah, it's nice to have some common cultural backgrounds. Like religion is important for some people. I mean, not for me, but if someone was really religious, that might affect me because it's just it's your fundamental beliefs and stuff. I just don't care about the skin, or I just care about the individual person. And
Well, I mean,
if they didn't speak my language,
culture, yeah.
if they didn't
I
speak
like Mexican food. So like I would go the opposite way that Sean's saying. Not necessarily like the one example you gave rings true, but like something that's like a culture that's totally different. So like
okay,
like like Japanese or something,
like someone cool like that,
because they have like a really strong culture, but it's way
Yeah.
different than ours. So you like get to learn and experience like new things. That would be cool.
But the one problem with maybe dating, say someone Japanese, it's like Japanese American, or like, do you have to travel to Japan to see your family 2 times, 3 times a year? And like, do you have to, like the logistics,
Maybe I have a skewed view because my parents did that. My mom is Icelandic, and
Sure.
like it's exactly what we did, and they made it work. Granted, Japan's a lot farther, but if you're flying, you're flying.
It's a trip.
But that's like the cultural differences there are huge.
What are the cultural differences in Iceland and?
I mean, Iceland is a country of like 300,000 people, so it's essentially like socialist country, which works for them because it's so
Tiny.
small. Like it's not, they don't have the capitalist attitude, so like everyone is happy, everyone's comfortable.
Yeah, they're not like any more money. Like,
right.
That's very
Right.
American.
They
to
like
that.
spend a lot of
And I love that about
time
America.
outside. They spend a lot of time outside, value that, spend a lot of time with their families, and everyone's just like genuinely happy. They're healthy, they're taken care of, and they like take care of
How's
each
like
other.
homelessness or poor? Like how's that?
None.
Okay.
No, not a single homeless person.
Wouldn't have to deal with it. Yeah, it's
Nope. And
it's
they
a much
don't
simpler
have
life.
like if there's one murder a year, it's like big news. People, this is true. Like if you go shopping, you'll see like strollers with babies in them outside of stores. Like moms will leave their babies in a stroller outside of a store and go in and go shopping because there's nothing to worry about. Everyone, it's like a pretty strong community. And then there's like the remote villages it's still very, very rural and kind of disconnected. So I love it there. Beautiful country, great people.
I've seen some of your Instagram pictures from when you visit it, and oh my God, the beauty of
breathtaking.
the place. Yeah, breathtaking beauty.
And it's like so many different forms of beauty.
Yeah.
Like there's the glaciers, there's mountains, there's like volcanic fields of just lava, there's glaciers. I mean, it's everything that you can imagine.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that sounds amazing.
unreal.
I love being an American. I love the fucking grind, the fucking capitalism attitude. I mean, that's me. I'm entrepreneur, business, but like I respect that. But I don't know. Am I an American, or is an American? Did America make me? But America it's like more of a stressful life, right? It's more
For sure.
money and stuff and status and fighting
Absolutely.
for space and
Materialistic.
resources. Yeah, I don't hate that.
Keeping
I
up with the
mean,
Joneses.
And like in every single society, happiness is what matters. I find, and I think I've transitioned. I think I've done this on purpose. I've trained my mind to like find happiness in the grind and the push. And like maybe that's biological, maybe it's something I've formed, but like I love America. And but
Me too.
So I like your idea about, because your mom and dad did that. Your dad's from America, Baltimore, right? Where Francis Scott Key watched the Spanish American War and wrote the Star Spangled Banner.
Birthplace of David Hecker. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where you were born.
Mm-hmm.
When did you move to PA? Like real young?
I was like 7, 8.
Oh, I didn't know
Not that
you.
young.
You lived your first 6 years of your life in Baltimore.
Yeah, surrounded by Jewish people. That's
did
why.
not
No,
know
like
that.
8 years.
I did
Yeah,
not
I
know
moved in
that.
2nd grade, and that's like the whole Jewish culture thing. That's where it came.
Because that
from.
was like your
My whole view of Baltimore is
everybody I knew was Jewish.
really. That's like your dad's like side of the family. and all
Dad's
that?
family and like friends, JCC. Like we grew up around like almost all. And then I moved to Kennett, and it's the exact opposite. There's like 2 Jewish kids in my school, so
Right.
that was like an adjustment a little bit. But me not being like a devout religious person,
Right.
it was just from a cultural standpoint.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that gives you that. I mean, I think that's like a great thing for any young kid to like kind of move and see different
Yeah.
cultures. I mean,
You did it way more than I did.
I did it a lot, and I think it's like what created my character. And
Mhm.
it's not something that like if I have the perfect life, which I plan on, and I have kids, like they probably won't see any hardships. So I might fucking manufacture some for them. I don't know, but like it's
Throw some like thumbtacks in their bed and stuff like that. You know, can't let them get too.
something. But it's good to move around and see different cultures as a young kid and adapt in different settings. I think it's good for a human. But what about you, Brandon?
Well, I kind of asked that because like I've dated like a girl who was Jehovah's Witness. I've been with a girl who
Is that a culture?
I imagine that. Oh yeah,
it's a cult, but also
it's like a culture of not having much of a culture.
Yeah.
Right? Like they don't celebrate like everything you associate with like a rich culture.
All I know about
like forbidden.
all I know about Jehovah's Witnesses is they go door to door and promote their religion. What is their actual
They're
life like?
So we had a Jehovah's Witness in my elementary school, and when we would celebrate somebody's birthday, they would have to leave. They weren't allowed to like celebrate. I'm serious. They would have to leave the room while we all had cake.
they're not allowed to talk to anybody who's not.
Are they kind of Mormon-y?
Yes.
Okay.
Similar,
Okay.
but like I think more extreme.
And then
Wait,
college,
Brandon. Wait. When did you date that girl?
Well, I'm still like kind of talking like it's right now, but
I hope she doesn't listen.
Also in college, I dated a girl who was she was Egyptian and she was like Muslim and she wore the hijab on her head and like I always wanted to see her hair and it was like kind of like a red flag. Like the first day I met her,
Were you worried?
You
Were
never
worried
saw
something
her
was
hair?
on- she was
That's
hiding
like in
something?
Curb where like Larry gets the blind guy to date the Muslim. He's like, it's
Yeah.
perfect. No one knows what she looks like. Wait, so you dated her and never saw her?
No, I dated her and like she just always had to wear the hijab. Like,
You never saw her hair.
No. It was like right before college ended. Like she went back. to
Okay.
Egypt, yeah. But I don't know. Just like I think
Were you attracted to those differences in culture, or were they annoyances, or
I think annoyance. Not well. I just like was interested in it. I don't know. Just foreignness.
You feel like you just gave us both answers. Maybe it was a little bit of both. I can see it going both ways.
Yeah.
how did this with the hijab? I mean,
Yeah.
you could see like her face.
Yeah, you can see her face. She was a beautiful. She was like probably the most beautiful girl I ever kissed.
Well,
but,
you think?
well, yeah. I mean, but yeah.
I think you could like see everything but her hair.
Yeah, everything with her hair. But I think that kind of like made her more attractive, I guess, because you're almost like not like she never showed.
She could be a perfect hair.
Yeah.
How did you imagine her hair? Like flowing locks or like
Well,
early onset balding?
Well, she told me it was a red flag right when because we were like making out and I wanted to take it off of her, and she's like, "Nah, you can't do that. That's a red flag." And it was during the time of
It's a red flag. It's a religion.
It's during the time the porn star Mia
Khalifa.
Mia Khalifa,
It looks bad that I know that, but
she was famous during that time, and that's like she didn't want to be like seen as a fetish because like Mia Khalifa's kind of like Arabic. I think.
Was she Muslim?
Wait. So you're kissing her. She has a hijab, and did she not want to take it off because she didn't want to seem like a porn star, or did she not take it off because it's against her religion?
Against her religion. And also, she said like people have fetishized her, like kind of thing.
Well, what if the fetishes wasn't a
wouldn't
situation?
Or what if wouldn't she want to take it off if that was the case?
I mean, I wouldn't. I don't know.
Like if that was her concern that it was going to be fetishized, then she'd be like, all right, we'll take it off. And
Well, basically,
but it's a religious thing. It's not. I don't think that has
Yeah,
much to do with
what
it.
are the rules? When are you
Like
if
a man
you-
can't
until they're
I don't think a
married?
man can see. Mm-hmm.
only her family can see her hair.
Until when?
Marriage.
It's not just her hair either, right? Isn't it like her body?
Her
Like
body,
technically, it's supposed to be like
She
her body.
covers-
Her,
you have to cover your body, yeah.
So you expected her to take it off?
Like the first day. But also I dated like a Hispanic girl, and then I had this chance with this Asian girl. I don't know. I tried like many different, I guess.
Like,
I don't know.
do you fact when you're looking for a potential girl? Is that something that's a high factor for you? Is the race and culture?
Well, like I feel like, to be honest, like I think I see it as a fetish, and it's like wrong because I do fetishize it, and so I'm just trying to like get better at it.
Like, what part do you?
Let's unpack there.
What part do you like? You fetishize what? The fact that they're a different race and culture?
Yeah, it's horrible. I'm a horrible person.
Well, no, I mean,
No,
it's across the board.
Yeah.
Asian, Hispanic, but it's just
on the list of things that you like consider when looking for a potential date. Top 3, top 4 that she's ethnic of some sort.
Let's just say she's
Like-
alternative. I don't know.
So that's number 1, and then you go to like beauty and personality, or like
intelligence is probably number 2. I like,
Okay.
but
So
you're number 1 though. It just has
Is
to be.
race.
It just has to be different than you, because it's not one specific race. It's just
Right.
a different than you type of race.
myriad.
just alternative. Like she's different.
Alternative to you.
I guess I can't explain.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You don't want to date somebody that's like a carbon. I mean, I'm not gonna say that the whole like putting race in that whole thing, but wanting to date somebody that's different than yourself, I think is pretty normal.
Like I just have a weird
don't know.
relation with
I think
race, like being mixed with whatever I am. Like I don't know. I think I see race more than I should. So,
Dude, you know what I think about race? What do I think about race? One sentence.
it doesn't exist.
No.
You don't see it.
Skin color doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't matter. Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Well, we're not gonna get into that, but I feel like it does because since
Well,
I've
it does to you.
It does to me because I've seen the difference in cultures.
Culture's
and-
culture's different than skin color.
And sometimes they associate culture because they look the same. So, yeah.
Okay. Brandon's big bites.
All right, I'll come next time with fire.
Anything else you want to get off your chest, bro?
No, I'm good. That's it.
All right. Hex?
Another one in the books.
75.
It's been fun, baby. I love this. I love this shit.
I know. It's a good part of the week. Something
Yeah.
to look forward to.
Yeah. I mean, it's actually more than just the day because we got to do the homework. You have more today. Yeah. All right. Well, we got 4 more.
I know it's sad. Coming to an end.
Let's make them count, baby.
Woo!
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Merry Christmas.
This has been the Sean Lowery Show. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. Oh, loving the hat, baby. And if you made it this far in the podcast, I fucking love you.
Yes.
So to the one person still
love
here, peace out.
I love you, Mom.
And have an amazing. You think your mom? Is your mom listening to this?
No.
My mom listened to my first 2. My mom listened to my first 2 podcasts. I think she's pretty good. Pretty good.
I haven't had the time though. I just,
she said to me over Thanksgiving very recently. I'm 70 episodes in. Oh yeah, the one thing that's good about your podcast is I feel like you're learning a lot about like equipment and microphones. And I was like,
yeah,
That's the best you could tell me.
it's the one thing.
He's trying.
It's the one thing. Thanks, Mom.
Hey, that's not good. Okay.
All right, yo. No, I mean, she's a mom. She's not the target audience. Peace out. I love you guys. Thanks for listening. And
Adios.
We'll see you next week. Have you ever heard a better podcast in your entire life? Take that, Joe Rogan. Best podcast you've ever heard. Get more podcasts right here and subscribe to the show too while you're at it. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you. Honestly, I love you.